Well, it's a warm welcome to the Full 80 podcast. I think it's about a month, the guys have just said, since we've been on, so we thought we'd throw a bit at you. It's a lovely morning here in North Yorkshire. And we've just come on the back of, I think, one of the best starts to Super League seasons ever. But evidently, guys, and we'll start off with a few fixtures, what we've just reviewed from last week, but evidently, we're in the same position. Everywhere I go, everyone says Wigan Saints, Wigan Saints. We can start off at that game, the Wigan Saints game. I think I don't know if it were a record crowd, but the scenes on social media as the players coming into the game, it is frightening. You know, like football, you've got the Saints coming through the crowd. There must have been 2,000 or 3,000 people just letting them in, and they're walking through with their earphones on. It was electric.
Arriving, it was
unbelievable atmosphere. The crowd were waiting for them outside. It were like shouting them for the derby. It was, and I think one of the commentators said, "This is the bar.
Yeah,
that's the bar." On and off the pitch, with that atmosphere, with how the game were played. And some coach said to me the next day, yeah, they play proper rugby. That's a proper game. In other words, they go set to set to set to set to set. The patience, the tough. It's the nearest thing we'll see to the NRL model when the top two play each other. My fear is that the rest of them are so far behind. I hope I'm wrong. I know. It's weird this, they call it a programme, or they call it whatever, a process we'll use, but that's an Ian Watson word. But all these teams are going through processes. But I still think they're 10 points behind either of them two. Now, we need the competition to be, someone's going to come out of pack and go for them. Catalans have done it for us in the last 2 or 3 years. We need another one, maybe two, to go after them, because this comp, if it just keeps going rolling them two. Let's be honest, if you're an expert on the cap, which I am, you'd say that Wigan have got it right for the last 5 years, and they've got the money, financial clout, to go and get any marquee signing they want at any time, as they've proved with Luke Thompson, as they've proved with Dupree, pay 140 grand transfer like that. Yeah. As the prove with signing, keeping Bevan and Jai, which is crazy within a salary cap sport. So let's start off with this game, guys. Did you watch it, any? You both watched it?
Yeah.
Joe, your feelings on it? What did you think?
I think you've covered it quite well there. I think great game. Like you said, the two standout teams in the competition. Bevan French, I think, will be, by all reports and all, not all reports, but all rumour mill, I'll say, is off to the NRL next year. That's what the Twitterverse is saying, whether it's true or not. You never know, but I think he...
Can we say allegedly? Because I don't want...
That's why I said Twitterverse.
I don't want the Wigan chairman chasing us like... I don't want us getting in trouble again.
There's no factual...
That's just your opinion.
It's just like the Twitter talk.
Yeah.
So rumour mill. The rumour mill is he'll be off to the NRL next year. He is out of contract. That's a fact. So I can say that. So I think there'll be quite a few NRL clubs knocking at his door. Another standout try this week. He's just... You forgot about that one. No,
I challenge what you've just said. I think Bevan over there obviously would have played a bit of wing, played a bit of fullback, and it was known as he wasn't the ideal NRL player getting in the grind. He was just a freak and he could do things. But consistency, that's why he came to England. He couldn't get a club. There wasn't much happening. He's going to go back there a better player. But do you think an NRL club would pick Bevan at half in the NRL?
Yes, or fullback, yes.
That's the debate. I'd say maybe fullback, but I don't think...
There's 2 or 3 clubs that are dying for a fullback. The modern day game, they either go freak like Reece Walsh, which is kind of the Bevan mould. I'm not saying Bevan's as good, but that sort of mould where it's off the cuff plays and excitement, or it's the yardage monster machine. So I think he'll be picked up and probably played at fullback or half in a couple of teams. I know that there's a couple of teams out there looking for that sort of player, and I think we'll see how he does in the NRL next year.
I think the interesting thing on that is for a few years I've been saying take Jai and Bevan out of that Wigan side, and I genuinely think that they're just another competitor for the top four. You could say it's pretty obvious, even if we replaced them with two mid-range Super League halves. And the fear has been for Wigan, in terms of their period of going on to dominate like St Helens did, that if they do lose one or both of those, I do think that they're unbelievably hard to replace, because Bevan's been, more so than Jai for me, so important. Like what he did the other day, in fact, probably would have been enough if they don't lose a man. I don't think we can lose that game if Dupree doesn't get sent off. He is the ultimate match winner. I don't think there's anyone near him in Super League for what he does.
The tackle in the World Club alone was probably one of the greatest tackles I've ever seen in my life. The try save.
Are you on about Jai?
Yeah.
No, I'm on about Bevan.
Oh, Bevan.
Yeah, I'm on about.
Would you have Bevan above Jai?
100%.
I think everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think everyone.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think now, interestingly, with Wigan becoming a wealthy club, and it might have been Amor or someone touched on at the end, they're probably in a situation now where I think they would offer as much money as any NRL club would for him. I'm not saying there wouldn't be demand for him in the NRL, but I'm not sure they'd be going monster money, and Wigan could probably match the offers he gets from over there with their new found wealth and keep him. And for me, they've got to keep him if they want to keep dominating.
I'll agree. Could they match money? I'm sure they could, because he won't get top money over there.
Not top as in like top 10 player. He's getting a lot of money next year.
Honestly, lads, I'm totally.
I think it'd be an 800 Aussie. And I do think Wigan. I do think. Well, let's say, even argument say, I think Wigan would pay $350 to keep Bevan, and I think that would be as near enough what he'd get in.
I've got the NRL app now, so I watch every single program, every magazine program. He never, ever gets a mention on any of them.
No,
you will never hear Bevan. And if you said to them
around the World Club Challenge, he did everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't, but if you the preview in Wigan, I hope they did.
No, after post.
I just believe, in my opinion, that unfortunately for us in our comp, there's 250 Bevans from 17-year-old to 30 over there, and they've got them coming out of every single grab.
I think he's better than that.
No.
They were known. He was known as an absolute freak player that couldn't work with instruction, some of the hard work, which is now massively improved on. He's played in that World Club Challenge, and he's changed a lot of opinions of the NRL clubs.
There might be 10 or 15.
I'd like to say,
there's not 250.
There's 250.
There's not.
There's not. That's factually just so wrong.
The only thing you haven't got.
He was known as a freak before he left.
The only thing you haven't got is what they're saying. There's a shortage of quality young halfbacks. What they're looking to bring in the system to develop. I just put something on Insta yesterday about two half-packs, Todd Carney and the guy who's just left Catalans. And they were saying it's fantastic at saying, sticking up for half-backs and saying a young half-back coming into the game is essentially needs time. There's one this morning I've just put on where they're saying it's Arsene Wenger. It's a fantastic point. And he said, I was willing to sacrifice points to develop a player. That was why I was different to others. I knew playing a 20-year-old instead of a 28-year-old was going to cost me points. But I knew long-term that 20-year-old needed to be given a chance before we made a call on him. It's one of the bravest, when you think about it, your problem over there is what they're saying is the pressure is on, so they don't want to develop. So your point is bringing a 29-year-old Bevan back, other than developing that 19, 18-year-old, 20-year-old kid. There's a young. Have you seen the young kid at
West Tigers?
He's causing more. It's for me, my passion for the game. Watching the kid, 18-year-old kid, take line on like that and giving it the full, it is what makes this game electric. I think Bevan will be asked to play fullback over there. I don't think they'll see him as an half, in my humble opinion, even though the pass in the World Club, the timing of that pass was world class.
Oh, he's got the pass.
And he said, what did he say? Ivan Cleary famously said, I can't believe we've been beat. They've had 3 chances, they've scored 3 tries. You either say that's genius or on the day it stuck, I don't know what. He couldn't believe that they had 70%, whatever it was, attack. I talked to Matty Pete about it. And they got into that arm wrestling. It's weird. when Wigan stack up and play in this country, they certainly didn't do this against Penrith because they didn't you won't get the clean breaks that you would hear. But he says they just attack space. So they literally attack space. So they're saying, right, tie numbers in. As soon as there's space, and Bevan and Jai are anywhere near even 4-on-4, even 4-on-3, it's over. Yeah. You know, they'll take that space, they'll take that. Obviously, NRL guys and players going over there, that's a different ball game because the scramble and the athletes they are frightening. Absolutely. I mean, what do you think if Bevan done what he's done and Jai, who both won't get a regular game, what would a top class fullback do?
I think
you're saying like Bevan
would both score 100 here.
100?
Are we that bad?
No, I think it's a different game. I searched up...
Because if you spoke to NRL now and said, top 5 fullbacks against Jai and Bevan, they'd laugh at it, they'd say, are you talking out of your absolute...
Yeah, for the overall...
Yeah, if Johnson, them, if you...
Yeah, but I don't think we're not debating that.
No, I'm saying what would a top fullback... I'm debating it.
Well, right, so if Reece swapped with Jai...
Top 5, what would he do at Wigan?
I don't think he'd get loads more than Jai, because Jai scores so... Well, he's not actually scoring loads this year, but...
Do you mean, explain why? Because he's
because they're both so good at what they do.
But it's a different level. You're not talking...
No, but they're only still going to get the same opportunities.
He makes his own opportunities.
All right, no more than 10 more.
In the NRL.
Between 5 and 10 more tops. That's what I think. You're not going to get someone scoring 80
Reece Walsh is the premier attacking superstar threat in the...
Let's just say...
He's still going to be on set back.
Let's just say Jai and Bevan were number 20, number 20 fullback in the NRL, right?
Bevan were much higher rated than Jai.
I promise you
he was. I know for a fact.
Well, hopefully we'll get some things in.
I know.
If we got the top 12 teams in NRL, got every one of the fullbacks that came over here, would they be absolutely a league above these two?
What type of play? Reece Walsh, I disagree with Jimmy. Reece Walsh,
Parramatta fullback.
Rips up, not as much.
But above?
The pitches are a bit smaller. Yeah. I did my research. The Suncorp to the Cass pitch, what you said is famously quite wide. Suncorp Stadium is 10 metres wider. So there's more space on the pitch, not player athletic wise, but actual pure pitch wise. NRL pitch, a pitch too. So if it's generically different throughout the whole league thing, but them two, I think the NRL pitches are much wider. There's much more space, better athletes to cover that space. Agreed, but there's more space in NRL. I don't think they do. I think the work rates and overall. They'll offer more.
Well, but in terms of fullback of 280 metres again.
Yeah, in terms of pure attacking threat, no, because Bevan is a freak attacking threat. The overall picture of someone, would Dylan Edwards average 300 metres here, get a couple of tries, not many. I don't think he'd get loads more than Bevan. He's not as fast and he's. I think overall, yes, the picture's better, but Bevan will stack up on anyone in pure speed and creating opportunities.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting that. We'll try and get some on that.
Except Reece Walsh.
I'll try and I speak to the Aussies a bit. I did last week. I'm going to say I'll get the answer for next week or next time we do a show. What will Bevan be come like over there in the market? Do they put Bevan number 1 shirt at a top 8 club? Do they see him as an
halfback? I think he's going
in half. We can get the answer. The good thing this week can get the answer.
Going back to the original thing is that I haven't for ages, but now I do think that Wigan will be able to keep Bevan financially. Whereas going back a couple of years, I don't think we would have been able to. I mean, I know he stayed, but he probably thought, I haven't quite hit that level where I can get myself an NRL gig. I do think even if it's a lower team now, he could get an NRL gig in one position or other. But I think Wigan will keep him because they have to keep him. If they lose Bevan, it's an unbelievable ask to get a replacement that's going to keep them in as the top team. It's so important.
A recruitment manager for an NRL club told me this week that with the new rules, and I'm trying to.
He
said they can bring young Aussies can come over here now.
New South Wales players can come over. I can't remember.
Players.
So that'll be exciting, won't it? If we can bring some of the most exciting, players over here
before
they become famous.
A couple of teams have tried with older ones and it's not worked, has it? So hopefully the younger market.
We've been asking for it for years, haven't we?
Yeah, to match their own game.
And Saints, guys, what do you think?
Just machines, aren't they? I think absolute machines. I think I got tweeted last week saying, do you still think Saints are going to come 5th? I'll hold my hands up and say, no, I don't think they're going to come 5th. I made that wrong. I think what you can see is, though, the ages, the ages make it for them big games. They're getting up for it. For others, they don't look as electric. I stand by my sort of point, but I think they're still that far ahead of everyone else. I misjudged how far ahead Saints was compared to everyone else in the first place. I think they are getting older. I think we are seeing the end of a generation.
Well, he's saying that, but I thought Walmsley was just...
For his big games, he's getting up for him.
Well, Jimmy Peacock did that famously for all them years. That run he did his last 6 minutes was the only person I've seen do that with JP in his pom, where the Leeds would be on back foot, JP would rampage 40 metres with a ball, elbows, knees high, and you're thinking, how's he done it? Because he was tired. Walmsley was tired, he walked off with head down, come back on, looks like Superman. So I don't know, probably another 2 years by what he's just done.
I thought
could still be the Premier forward in the country.
Probably is, yeah.
I thought last season and this season he's still been exceptional, but I did think he wasn't reaching the heights of the year before that. And then
JP did it.
The last 2 games, awesome. I suppose the big question is, do you think Saints win that game if Wigan don't lose Dupree? I've still got Wigan just ahead of Saints. I think that Wigan win that game.
Not for me. I think I don't think.
You think Saints would have come back?
I think that happens. I think in every game now you're losing players.
No, I know, but that's a different thing.
I'm on about. I think
totally
that Wigan and Saints, you could play 10 times and you'd have 5 different results.
Right. So I'm going to go 7-3 Wigan. I think Wigan have got the edge because of Ben.
And the take off Tommy Mack were worth it anyway. That for me was one of the.
I think Jai should have jumped.
I couldn't believe that but the commitment. We work with wingers so much. And the question I ask all the time is, why can't you do that? Why can't you set your stall and go for that ball? And instead of just going up and no commitment, doing what Tommy did. And whatever happens, he's going to get knocked out or he's going to get the ball. Yeah. And he's not bothered. He's taking his chance because he wants to win that game for his club. All the wingers out there, show me the money one especially. It's just watch it and see what he does. The young lad in defence, Beniston, the take he took in defence.
That was even better for me.
That was breathtaking. Yeah. But it's a commitment to get the ball. There's a difference in... I watch a lot of the modern day box kick. I'm trying to get players, halfbacks, to go back to slapping it in the corner as high as they can and let's see these lads like they did years ago.
50-50.
It's come out of the game. I'll quote 2 players this week, actually. Luke Gale, I said, look, why we're not doing the kick in the corner as much? He said, because they can't catch it as good. He said, I was lucky I had Solomon, I could drop it in a 10-yard box and it didn't matter, he got it. He said, nowadays, I don't think they can execute that play like they did. I said, well, I'll question that. I think it's the half-backs can't execute the kick. Paul McShane said exactly the same. He said, no, he don't think it's the winger, he thinks the half-back would not execute that kick to pinpoint. And I said, that's because they're not...
There's a few that can.
Well, it's going out of the game, Jimmy. We don't watch it on a weekly basis now, like we did. Mark Sneed's probably the only 1 or 2.
And I was going to say,
still execute that type of play. And they had 2 different opinions on it. But if you look at what he did for the try, my God! And what Paul said, a good point. He said a lot of them now are going up and flicking.
That's what I was going to say.
And they're flicking. He said they're flicking it back, and that's what the coaches don't like because that flick back can cause something. Maybe a break or a knock on, and then all of a sudden it becomes an attacking play for the team. Yeah. So what Paul said, it's not the box kick's pretty safe. Let them catch it.
Yeah. That's what
down. Be braver, coaches. You're in attack.
Go for it. Yeah.
You're in attack, and let's get these wingers practicing it every day so we can watch what they're doing in NRL. Yeah. Somebody 2-footed air, double somersault, one-handed. We've got the athletes to do it. Let's go back to it. But no, I think 5 out of 5 for Saints and Wigan. Right. My problem with it all is just I'm scared that they're getting away, and I don't want that to happen. I didn't want that to happen at the start of the year. I don't want that to happen now.
I'm less worried about the longer term. As what we said there, Bevan and Jai are massive. But for Saints, you look, there's been rumours for a long time about Dodsy's going. And I know they've got some serious talent coming through again, but that's going to take a bit of time. Lomax, best player in Super League for the last 5-6 years, since probably Danny left for me. But how long can his body last? Every hit he takes, and after every game, he's stepping up. So I do think that their halves at both clubs, I don't think that they're going to dominate for 3, 4, 5 years because I'm not sure that they'll stay for one reason or another.
You watch the academies. Joe goes to more than most.
I just said that. They've got
the players who just...
It took Dodsey, they were so patient with Dodsey, and Wigan was so patient with Harry Smith.
I think more Harry than Dodsey. I think Dodsey hit it off the bat.
Yeah, but he was playing in a team
17 and a half, 18.
But you've got to remember, Saints were totally dominant then. So most of their games...
They still are now.
No, Wigan, for me, are level with Saints.
Yeah, it was too dominant.
Yeah, but when Dodsey came...
I think Harry got given a lot of time. But
when Dodsey came through at Saints, of course, we all thought he was ahead of Harry anyway. At the time, we thought Harry... The patience Wigan had with Harry was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because Wigan probably knew we're 1-2 years away from catching Saints. But Saints had the luxury of giving him the time because they were way ahead of everybody else. Now... Wigan and Saints are in a total 50-50, as you just said. So it's harder for them to give a young academy player all those games without costing them points, the Arsene Wenger thing. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it costs them as much points because it only costs them points against each other. Well, like that moment, we're arguing that far ahead. I think there is. And
I still think Catalans.
And let's be honest, Saints can go and Saints again with their cap, they can go and get a.
They can, but Lomax is irreplaceable, totally irreplaceable, like Danny Maggs was at Leeds, because he's been there so long and he's so important for the culture, he's so important for the standards. Bevan's irreplaceable because there's no one like him, certainly in this country. Whether they
could say Walmsley and Tommy Mack. Tommy Mack rumours going Catalans. Walmsley, don't know how long he's left. I get you.
I'm more optimistic.
Then you see George Delaney come up and go, yeah, all right then. And then there's the blonde there. I don't know the lad who's keeping George out of the side last week. He looks a bit like George.
Jake Wingfield.
Where's he come from?
Well, he's had plenty of games.
He's played
Where's he come from? I know he's had plenty of games. This kid is now in the top. I'm watching him. I'm going. He's getting better every week.
Anybody, yeah.
He's like Bachelor. When they come, they suddenly go boom, boom.
He played a lot of games.
The system's excellent, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. The players can go into that system, and then you go in. God, is he far off England? And then you start to talk about him thinking, Bentley did the same thing. Bentley went there, then within 2 years you're thinking, is it me or is Bentley looking like the next England back rower? And all of a sudden, they replaced Bentley with Bachelor, and no one's mentioned Bentley at Saints since. No. Not one person's mentioned him once.
And now they've got Whitley, who's even better than both.
It's unbelievable.
It's like Penrith do it, don't they? I was just listening to a podcast on Penrith and they say they've dominated for 5 years because they can't afford to keep keeping these top players, but they've got a new youngster coming in that replaces them pretty much just underneath what they were at, and then they get better. They're saying that Taruva at Penrith has to go this year because he's not going to fit into the cap. And they're saying he's going to go to another club as a main-star fullback, not even a winger. He's going to go in as a fullback.
But we were
and that'll be the 4th or 5th year in a row.
We were looking to watch the Origin last year and know what best two halfbacks, Wigan and Saints. Or were it?
Yeah.
The Wigan halfback or the raving about.
Yeah, Farriman do play
and then Whitney. Yeah. So you go to Origin and you go, it's happened again. You look round at other scouts and you're going, well, they've done it again. They've already got two halfbacks, so look like they're ready-made. You know, that game we watched him, it was outstanding. It was like, you're thinking, well, are these two that dominant again? So listen, that's my only thing. Brilliant for if you're a supporter of Saints or Wigan, good on you because you've got some more to come, guys. Let's talk about one of the teams which obviously can compete financially, Record sales, by the way. Paul's just texted me something last week. This is OKRL.
Yeah.
And Paul's texted me saying record season tickets, members they call it. I think it's over nearly 9,000, 8,500. It's crazy. He said the waiting list now for members to even join, it's not saying it's the Penrith model, but they reckon Penrith's membership went up that much in that period. Well, OKR have got standby membership people wanting. They're going to have to build some more seats or something, or get something in there because it's that. Yeah. Paul was saying it's absolutely crazy. Financially, they've got enough investment in the club to go.
Sorry, I didn't realise Hull KR sold out.
Yeah, they have a membership. Yeah. So they sold out. There's only one game this year they haven't sold out.
Is it?
At home, but everything else is sold out.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd let Paul speak for his said on that, but he told me that everything's sold out apart from one game, and the memberships have gone up that much. It is crazy the amount of demand to go and watch OKR now, and so there's a club who can compete on and off the field. The Hull derby. The disappointing thing is, OKR get to play, Saints get to play Wigan, nice and competitive. OKR get to play Hull. It were all over within 25 minutes. If you're watching it, I watched it intently, and they competed for like 15, 16 minutes, and then you knew, I don't know, anybody who watches rugby league who has half an idea didn't think, oh my, it was just like a matter of time. I don't know if you watch this, have you ever watched a game where you're thinking, please don't give a penalty? Yeah. Because you know they can't defend that penalty. That's what I felt for Hull. I thought if Hull give a penalty in yardage, it's all over. Well, bang, 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 game over. Game over. And when you're down on your luck, you're down on your confidence, and probably down on a bit of quality, you don't want to give penalties because it becomes an avalanche. You're looking at each other going, the best teams give a penalty and they just go, we're all right. Because they can defend 6 or 7 sets, and then some of them do it to get this end ready, and and then they see that as scoring points against you because they defended your best. It's like a boxer. And you say, well, he ain't got no to talk me, I've just defended him for half an hour. Unfortunately, Hull are not there, but Hull KR going from strength to strength to strength to strength. I questioned how much good ball they get, and they don't put teams away. I was thinking that before. I used to think, God, they get a lot of ball. But Willie Peters said an unbelievable thing, and I hope I can quote Willie on this. I think he said to the team...
Because you're going to anyway.
If we don't, we shouldn't be doing it. I think Willie said, I'm not bothered the conditions that bad, just get the result. So in the first 5 games, when people were saying they weren't playing footy, Willie goes, no interest. We'll play the conditions and take the win. Yeah. We'll defend good, we'll commit to each other, but I'm not looking for silky stuff. Yeah. They started to get a bit more silky stuff last week. They put even more silky stuff in the derby. I'm biased, but Mikey Lewis, making sure I didn't think he was going to play, and then he said he was playing. Mikey's box office, there's just... I said this when he was a young lad. He was made for an old derby. There's never been a player I've seen over the last 20, 30 years who can walk into an old derby we can't stop laughing at. He's going to have a couple of fights. Yeah. He's going to have a little bit of this. He's going to score a great try. Yeah. He's going to smash somebody and stand over him. Yeah. He's going to do a couple of mistakes. Yeah. Roll all that together, and you're in the Mikey Lewis Wonder Will. That's it. Totally. As soon as he went clear with that thing, I'm like, oh my God, he's just... Who writes the scripts? I think that's what you could say. I think he writes his own scripts. But OKR, can they challenge, lads? Can OKR be the one team? I quoted it at the start of the year. I think I said I thought they'd beat top 3. Yeah. And I still stick to that. I think they're the only team that can get them 2. That's my opinion.
All I'd say quickly on that is, going back to Bevan, I think after Bevan, Mikey is the number 1 player I'd want to watch in Super League, and that's not even, biased aside, he is that electric, isn't he? And he is that exciting. But what happened in the second half, though? You're just writing that off, because I can't believe that Hull FC managed to win the second half. I
think the break were off. OKR committed to each other at half time.
Well, which was brilliant, wasn't it? Because everyone was worried it was going to be 70.
I think Tony used the word, not reckless, but let's get reckless in with our bodies. Let's make sure we commit our bodies to the D and to what you're committing to each other.
Which was massive, because most, after half an hour, the Twitter world and everyone's going, that's Smith gone at full time, this will be 70. No one saying Hull FC will come out and fight and win the second half. I bet there were not a person in a black and white shirt who thought that. So it was unbelievable turnaround.
Did you hear the pundits? They all said, really interesting. They won't replace Tony. He'll stay in the job. Who are you going to get? Who'll take the team on as it is? Tony's the man. He did this at KR when they lost his first 10 games, or 10 out of 12. My philosophy on that would be, is Tony the right man and his staff for the job? He's certainly got the experience to do it. He hasn't lost the changing rooms from what I hear. And we would hear a lot of things. Do I think he's got the detail and everything to, the coaching that's got to be done there to improve? I think at KR are a different group. I think he had a lot of committed people, and they had players coming in all the time. There were a lot of turnover. I don't know if your memory serves you, that first 18 months, the exchange on players. Hull are not making any exchanges, which is worrying me. That's the one thing I can't work out. That's to everybody. I cannot work out why Hull are not going, you know, I know what Kayak's out getting the phone call.
Yeah.
He's going to go get somebody in, he's going to go. So it was like a merry-go-round. As soon as you got one in and they didn't think you were good enough, it was like, right, we need to shake this up.
Is it because we've got so many injuries, they just can't do it yet?
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, guys. I don't know why Hull have not gone into the market and said,
we need to check it out.
They've all got the year safety. Everyone's got the year safety. Right?
Yeah.
It's not fair on the fans to sit there and say we're not going to get relegated. Hull are top category, so they cannot get relegated. He said, but could they lose 1,000 supporters? Could they lose corporate? Could they lose sponsorship? Could they lose the pride of Hull? 100%. So for me, my alarming thing is I've had a phone call off KR this morning. They are always sniffing for new players.
Around, yeah.
But Hull for me, and I've loads of time for James Clark, loads. Everyone knows my French. I think what he's done there, and he gets battered from pillar to post. You'd be walking. You won't take it. His family have to go through it every week. It's personal abuse. It's family abuse. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
He works 70 hours a week. You never get Clarky when he's not working. Whether it's at a training ground meeting, corporate, he's whatever he is. Don't say he don't work for that club, and he gives everything in his heart. And everybody in rugby league knows that behind the scenes.
And he's believing in
the long-term vision. But I'm saying to James, and I'm saying to Adam, and I'm saying to Tony, come on. Tony, they've got to go into the market.
I disagree with you there. I don't think they do. I think what we saw in that second half from fans, from everything, was the word hope. And it wasn't the hope of anything else other than Jack Charles played for half an hour and they all went mental.
You can't throw your thing on Jack doing that for half an hour.
No, I'm not throwing that. I am, because the fans absolutely loved it. My point is, it is a completely free year. As we all know, it's not completely free, like you said. Actually, it does have some things from the whole perspective, but it's a free year in terms of relegation, in terms of, your league position. Sadly, it's between second to last, third to last at the moment. Unless some crazy changes, that's your league position from Hull FC.
Well, we said that at the start, but we got slaughtered.
But they've got to accept that at this point. I think most fans have. I want to see them young lads get in.
We all do.
But I think what the social media world showed, the fans do as well. I don't think there's any good reason.
But you've got a duty of care to put a young man in with other people who can look after him. You can't just go, you dare not do that, because you will ruin every young... If they had pinned this kid, young Charlesy, and they pin it on him, and in 3 games' time, I'm not going to mention 2 players have said it all, you get clapped one way and then week after the boot's going in.
I agree, but I think they did it perfectly. They give him half an hour, they put him in, they let him go in. They've moved New Brown to Wooker. They do it. I think the more we see of that, the more we see Lewis Martin playing and have them couple of tries he did in them first couple of games, and the fans loved it. The more Charles had a good game, did a few. I think he did a tackle, didn't they? That they were all really proud about. That he
plays with no fear, didn't he?
But they've got more youngsters where this is coming from. The last couple of years have had the talent of they've competed with the Saints and Wigans in the academy. They've come third and fourth for the last couple of years. They're about it, and I think the more we see them integrated smartly, like Charlesy was, like Lewis has been a bit. I think the more the more that happens, the more they commit and actually say, "Stay with us here, lads. We've got the young ones."
I think you're agreeing with each of you. Just to clarify, because it sounded like you were going back on what you said the other week. You're saying, yes, use this as a chance to pick 5 young ones and get 10 games into them, because you need that before you even... No, but you were saying that. Now you're saying start swapping players. But
100%.
But you're saying...
Not the youngsters.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm clarifying, you feel the need to change some senior players so that these young lads are protected, Not just
overseas historically, Hull get the overseas right. I've done. They've been all right with it. They've got some wrong, Seymour, over the years, but they've also got Carlos, and them were phenomenal. The props, when the 3 Challenge Cups, the overseas cap was amazing for them. It worked. I don't know if you could name 1 or 2 yourselves. I don't know if you can name them. You can name them, but you wouldn't have them in top 20 overseas players in UK at the moment. So they've got something wrong.
Yeah.
If you said top 20 overseas tomorrow, you would not have all FCs in that. Let's be honest. you'd say pretty second grade, bit like Cass. No offence,
maybe Liggy Salga.
You won't put many. I love the Cass loose forward hooker. I think his effort levels are amazing, but you won't put any of Cass's in that top 10, 20. Hull are going through a transition. We're loving all them youngsters coming through, but they've got to be protected.
Yeah.
And the higher players have got to come good. And I just think, looking at them now, I'm looking at all thinking, Troy's coming back 4 week, Jack Walker back 4 week. They've earmarked a reserve game for both to play.
4 weeks for Troy.
Yeah, both of them to play in. I think it's Saints, something like that. It's supposed to be a good game. So, hopefully we'll all get to that. But Troy's going to need time. He's had he's had ACL and Achilles. He's going to need 10, 12 weeks of playing before you can even judge him. Jack's pivotal to what they do, but then Jack's obviously pulled that hamstring at Catalans after scoring try. I've never seen a kid we look like Jack's as long as I live. So they have got a few coming back. I think Brad Fash is the unfashionable hero. He's the kid on the tour of Marbella. We only mates who's trying us out and no one says out, but he's best crack at 3 days holiday. He's the one that you say, I want to be around him. He's obviously got the values to make them 50 tackles and just over everyone's crap up. You mentioned New Brown being a hooker. One of you two did, I don't know who did it. Somebody said he's a better hooker than he is half, which is obviously. They need him playing hooker, don't they? They need him playing big minutes at hooker, quick. Because the strain on Danny at 30. You can just see it. You're thinking, poor old Danny. I watched him against KR and his effort. And his head were going down when they were scoring. He's a local lad. And I bet he's thinking, listen, we're well played sport. When you start to get to that stage where you think, I wonder how many mornings now he's thinking, oh no. And it's all right going to all the 3 top 4 and Danny's legs are going, I want some more of this. I always remember Danny Manx, wanting more of it at Leeds, and then he left to KR and he managed to think, but you wanted more of it because I fear for all. I fear a little bit. And you look at Tony. I know I'm looking at Tony and his staff and I'm saying, they're all in. Because Tony's brought his own staff in, so people can understand. It's Tony, Stan, Franny, Jace Davidson. Come on, Craig. There's another 2. I think he's gone back.
Greg C,
ex-Warrington with Tony, so a friendship. And then you've got Webster, I think, is doing a bit for him. Who's Tony's man from KR. James Webster's doing a little bit. Right. So you've got 6 or 7. So all have invested in them people to get them. And they're all rugby league lads then. Franny's bred in rugby league. He's been in it for 30 years of his life. We saw his lad play actually the other day. Very good for Wakey. But he's trusting them, that group. I think they've got to keep with them. I think that they've got to, because investment-wise, you can't just say, if somebody said, oh, Tony, I'm not happy, you're gonna have to, you can't leave all the rest at 6. So Hull are not going to pay out $500,000 payouts to get rid of all staff. So they are staying.
Yeah, and to be fair, the club have been very good at being transparent about that. We've realised our errors of the last 4 or 5 years, and we're now putting it has to be, for me, at least a 3 or 4 year plan. And they've been transparent, and like Joe said, the fans are buying into it a bit, aren't they? Obviously, it's disappointing getting pumped off your rivals, every time these days, but they had to do what they're doing, and hopefully it works. And I think that
losing Shenny, Joe will tell you, the academy lads, Michael they were buzzing on the job. Every single player at Hull was just absolutely Shenny. And I think losing him at the time they did, I'd have thought Shenny would have gone into that system with Tony. And, when Kaylee said to me, he thinks Shenny will be the next big coach for a young lad to making that transition. He said he's got everything. He said even pushing Darryl on detail, like that doesn't happen. He said he's got down, we want this, I want that. He dares stand up in training. He said he'll stop session even if Darryl's there and go, guys, not happy about this, you need to do this. So all the elements are of him being a super coach. Best luck to Hull. I love the club. I think Tony Smith will go down as a unbelievable coach, whether you're on Tony, whether you're not. Tony Smith, probably one of the best overseas coaches. I think it's easy to say he's English, Tony, now, so he's been here that long. But I think him and his family's legacy in this country, Rowan and his brother, unbelievable. He's got some old heads there. They're going to know what to do. My thing is, and Tony, have you ever seen it? I don't know if you see it after a game. I always think you sit there and Tony's got the answers for you, you know. And I'm looking and thinking, come on, Tony, give me, you know what. He never condemns the player. And I've just actually had a chat there with somebody, and they're about Rowan's style. And she says Rowan will not make a comment unless he processes it. Well, that's Tony, isn't it? You know, it's I can't do that.
No.
You know that.
No, but it's good, isn't it? You know, you think about it. I get it a bit. I was like, wow. So you're not going to make a comment until. So the reason sometimes you think they sit on fence, it ain't. It's because they're not going to give you anything till they process that game 4 times. Just said 3 or 4 times, and then they'll go, okay, here's the answers why we got beat, and here's my answer what happened. Sometimes I like top coaches. I like emotion. I thought Ferguson was very emotional at times, like bang, yeah, bang. Mourinho, Pep. Did you see Pep chasing Grealish off pitch again, telling him what he should do and that? I can't stop laughing. Me thinking, God, it must be a nightmare at times, but absolutely absorbing to see somebody as passionate when you've won everything like he has. On the other side, lads. So yeah, good luck to the whole IFC. Stick together. Great lads, great club. We need Hull to be strong. We need it. Yeah. It's one of the only cities where you've got the Liverpool Everton. It's in the same town. We need Man City, Man United. We need that. We need that rivalry. It's a proper. It's the best derby. I said it in the papers this week. Best derby I've been to by far. Not even close, to be honest. Not even nothing.
But you've not been Good Friday Saints Wigan either, have you?
No.
All Leeds.
I've been to Saints. I've been Leeds 50 times.
In early 2000s, that was as good as any.
Not for me. That's your opinion.
I suppose that was a.
And have you been to an Hull derby?
No, and I've not been to Good Friday either.
There you go. Yeah. So,
but I'm saying it's
it was tingling, and to me, when a family dressed in different colours, it's got to be unique all around the world. That's what I said. It's an amazing thing. You've got red and black and white in the same family.
The others don't have that, do they?
But Willie Peters goes from strength to strength. It's just an absolute. Do you know what I like? Do you know what's weird about Willie? I'm telling you, this happens every week. Willie will finish his cycle, get the result, and he's on to you. I'm not kidding you. He's on to you. As soon as game finishes, he's like, "What do you think to him?" He must just walk around with things watching for any detail that he thinks needs improving. He is besotted. Paul rings me. Willie's already been on to me about something, and then Paul rings me with the same thing, and I said to Paul, has he been on to you? He's just relentless. Yeah. And he said,
it shows, doesn't it?
He just said effort. The other day he said something to me. I'm not going to mention who he did, but he sent me a clip of a player in training, a couple of clips, and he went, making it. We need more of that. I'm like, it's just absolutely just full in. And he said, and he talks about it all the time. He just says, we're an effort club. That's it. DNA's effort. Not interested in anybody who don't put effort in my team. I have no interest in them at all.
Brilliant, isn't it?
And I'm like, imagine that's just a brilliant DNA in it. If you don't try your ultimate every time you put a shirt on, don't come near me.
Yeah.
But that goes off the pitch. Willie lives and breathes it. I'm trying to do a bit with some coaches now, and we're doing a bit of thing. They don't live and breathe it. Willie Peters, just lives and breathes rugby. I mean, his missus, I don't know about him, but you're thinking he's just non-stop. Okay, our guys, can they challenge?
Well, you asked a question about start, and to be fair, you had him third, Joe had him second. It was me who had him sixth. So my answer is, based on the start season, I'm going to move him up as I still think Catalans will get third.
Right.
I do, and I think this will be a big game to see how they go against Saints this weekend. But I do think with the home advantage, I think Catalans get third, but Hull are my favourites to get top 4 now. I've got them above Leeds and Warrington from what I had before the ball was kicked.
Yeah, I think you've got to there's a clear top 2, isn't there? But then I think then the next top 2 is KR Catalans. That's the battle I'm excited to see. I think talk about overseas recruitment. I don't think Catalans have got it wrong in 6 years.
No.
I think that Dylan Napper maybe only one they got really wrong. The rest of them, that Nicaragua has come in, plays about 3-4 positions, just electric.
His feet are faster than Bevan's.
He's absolutely electric.
There's a tax exemption over there, so that helps as well, doesn't it? I think the English clubs always moan and say,
I think
it helps, but still they get it right more than they do wrong. You're not sat there.
But let me just say these words to you. Israel Falou, would you like to come here? It's Mediterranean. There's restaurants all over. Or would you like to go? I'm not going to mention the clubs.
28 degrees.
you fancy Cas Vegas or all in
espresso in the morning.
I think sometimes it helps, lads, that lovely...
It does, but all aside, that's what they get as a club. There's downsides to it and there's good sides, isn't there? And that's definitely, they get it, they're really good. That Nick Arima's exciting.
Yeah.
The other one, they just...
Well, what a pick-up Abdul is. What an absolute pick-up.
Their recruitment, they get it right more than they do wrong, and I think they're up there with any team. There's a good top four there.
They've got Tompkins and Chan who do the recruiting, so they have 2 recruitment managers. Chan's done it for, I think is it Jason? He's done it for like 5 or 6 years. That's who you deal when you deal with Catalans. You deal with Steve and then Chan, and then you'll have, now it's Sam. I think Sam's doing a bit, so they've got, people non-stop on that. No, I think, listen, KR have got a chance. Great for the City of Hull, which is a historic club for us. No one's mentioned Leeds, lads, so we've got Leeds Cast this week.
Yeah, Leeds Cast was the first game, obviously.
Jimmy, we know you're biased on Leeds.
Yeah,
you hang your hat absolutely on the cat. I don't mind that, by the way. I think unless you go on social media and when you're emotionally in a game, you start saying it.
No,
but you
stay away from that. You love
Brad
it.
Singleton. I've never gone on Twitter. Brad Singleton historically were chasing you for 3 weeks when you said.
Oh yeah, when Wigan did that was horrendous. What Wigan did, wasn't it?
No, it was a horrendous show. Comment. So we'll come back to Leeds Cass, guys. Cass, we're talking Hull. It's down there with Hull and London. Hull managed to get over London by 2 or 3 points at the end of that game. Cass have got to play in London yet. Me and Joe went to the pre-season friendly against London, and there was nothing between them. They literally, in fact, if we've been honest, London could have won that game every day, 7 days a week. Leeds first, guys. Can they challenge the top four?
Can they challenge the top 4? Yeah, but only, like I say, I think Catalans get third. I think they could compete to get 4th, but I'm confident they'll be in that playoffs, and I know that's not amazing and Leeds would expect more, but I think this year, with Warrington off to a good start, I think it is fiercely competitive. Leigh aren't performing anything like you two expected, but they've had a terrible time with injuries so far, so there might be more to come from them once they get players back. I think this is started off and is proven to be as good as any, with the exception of the bottom 3, and Salford are overperforming with a lucky bonus 2 points against Saints. But Leeds are showing...
You quoted that we said about Leigh, but you're quoting that. I didn't say that. I thought Salford. Somebody here said that.
You put Salford bottom 3. Yeah.
No. I said Salford will always be okay because I thought the coaching was above, and you went, what? One of you said, really? This year? And I said,
yeah. I thought Salford would hammer, but then you put them bottom 3 after saying that.
I thought I put Hull. I think you got that one wrong, Jim.
I'll have a look for you.
Yeah, please.
I'll have a look. Craig Harrison.
I apologise, Jim.
Salford, 3rd from bottom. Cass, 2nd from bottom. London, bottom. So yeah, I'm right again, yeah. All 4 from bottom, like we all did, I think. But I do think, going back to your question, that game, Cass couldn't have tried any harder, could they? They made it tough for Leeds. I never thought Leeds wouldn't get him in the second half. But that's as good as Cass can be. I genuinely think that's as good as Cass can be. And they were 20 points short of Leeds.
They are.
I thought it was the best team Cass had out all year as well. So.
I'll disagree a little bit. I think one try makes the bigger difference. They had a few close moments there. I think if they get a try, it's a different game. I think that's a different game.
Yeah, well,
Leeds go into that second half thinking we've won this because they have.
We defended for half an hour.
We've still held it. Cass made a couple of mistakes, a couple of things that happened, obviously. I think if they get over, they get an arm free and they get over that line, I think it's a different game because Leeds aren't going into it thinking, as the boxing analogy again, if they've took the big hit.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Do you think that's because Leeds' defence was great? Was Cass's attack good but couldn't get past a great defence?
I think Cass have got a long way to go still in their attack.
And that's what
They've had more spine combinations than any other team already. Nearly combined. I think there's, like you said, there's Hull in there, maybe London with their injuries at key position, but Cass's spine combinations have been. I've had more combinations than anyone, more turns, twists, new full backs, half swaps. there's been more comment, and I think Cass, of what we can see when they finally pick their three in the spine, if that ever happens, that's probably more my question I'd chuck at you, if they can pick the exact three they're going with. But hopefully they get a three that they're going to stick with and give more than 2 games, and once they figure that out, I think we'll see a Cass side that there's at least a win. There's a win not by London in there.
So you think Cass can beat someone outside the bottom 3?
Yeah, once they pick their spine and get that combinations going later in the year, I think there is something there. They've got yardage machines in Senior and Wood. Wood's effort's been brilliant. The right edge has got attack, but not quite got the yardage as of yet. They're not, in my opinion, they're not averaging enough yards, but they're definitely an attack brewing there. Sims obviously scored quite a few tries now. I think they just need to. For me, it's all on that spine. I know I've repeated myself now. They need to pick a spine. They need to stick with it and give it more than 3 or 4 games. And let's see Cass later in the year. And I think they've got a couple of wins in there because they've got meterage. They've got a bit of sexy attack, or fast attacking players. Let's see it all come together.
Yeah, God, I'm so disappointed in Cass. I just think the lack of ambition right through club. Big friends of mine, big friends at Super League like Hull. We need a strong Cass. I think there's been a lot of recruiting gone wrong. Big change. They need to make a big change. They've got investment now. They're concentrating on the pitch. We went the other day. There's road work. They're doing loads of stuff to the ground to try and get the IMG. Because at the moment, Cass would be favourites to go down with, maybe London if they're saying Toulouse are in. So Cass have got to make these things off the field pretty quick, sharp. But and it's so hard to say this, but we've got to do. We've got to call it straight. Is that, like I said, just very underwhelming for me. I really think Cass over the last since 17, 18, 19. I just cannot believe what's happened year in, year out. We shouldn't be talking about Cass just being bottom 3. They were there. They was the heir apparent to you were looking at Cass in 18, 17 as being the heir apparent to Saints, challenging Saints. Well, they did historically beat Saints on the way to playing Leeds in the final when Gailey drop kicked it, whatever. They were Challenge Cup final every year. Probably had a top 3 side for 4 years on top, whatever it was. And now you're talking about Saints and Wigan still there. You're talking about, it is unbelievable. We're talking about Cass in bottom 2, bottom 3. You've just said, can you imagine saying that? I think they probably beat 1 or 2 teams outside of London. You're like, I'm just thinking that Cass fan going, are we that bad?
Do you know what's quite scary, just quickly on that was, because we're obviously very involved in it, speak to a lot of people who are in the know, and when I listen to interviews with Cass fans, I'm thinking, Cass fans look at their squad at the start of the year and think, we're bottom 2, maybe bottom 3. And maybe some of them do, but they interviewed fans before they played Batley, and the fans are going, 62-4 to Cass, 58, we'll beat them 58-0, and you're like, oh no, are you that deluded? That's what's scary. If they think that they're still here and they don't understand where they really are, then they're in for some serious disappointment, aren't they?
I don't think you can judge fans. I think you've got to be optimistic.
They might have been being optimistic, but they seem genuine.
I think last year, the big issue last year, wasn't it, that the big shock was that they didn't see it last year. And I think they're facing the consequences this year of not seeing it last year and having this team that they thought could compete for the top 6. They thought top 6 team last year. They've obviously got nowhere near that. And then this year they're having the repercussions of it because they got it so wrong. I think it's so hard to make such a quick transition when you've got it so wrong the year before. I think they need to give it time.
It would be, to be honest with you, John, it was from 20, wasn't it?
It was. The downturn's been from there, but last year was the shocking one where we follow it, study it, we're all saying there's no way, and every one of them was saying there is a way, we're going to do it. And
how can you go on a cap, guys? How can you go on a cap from Luke Gale, from, let's say, Mike McGeechan, Shenny, Solomona, Sakardake?
Yeah.
But they had about 9 in dream. I'm trying to get my head around a prime Junior Moores who just were like Grant Below. He'll be dream team every year. I can't work out. I'm baffled.
Milner, McShane,
Benny Reynolds. You know, you're talking to Melbourne. He came from Melbourne. The stock were high. Not Benny. Is it Ben Reynolds? Yeah, the halfback.
No, Ben Roberts.
Ben Roberts. Apologies, Ben. But absolutely. And then you're looking at it and you're going, I just can't.
Did they stop spending?
Somebody's got to. Well, they still spent cap.
They still spend the cap every year.
So it's just whatever's happened, and you look at that. And I know I don't want to keep saying this about that, and you know I don't want Mark and them to get munkered and think, well, what's he saying that for? But look at it. Genuinely look at that team, and then go and watch them now. And this is in 6 years. In 7 years, we're now saying, oh, you know, if somebody comes free for 30 grand, he might go Cass. Do you know what I mean? At one time, you mentioned to Cass a player, he had to be better than what they had.
Yeah,
okay, Holmes, Grime, Adam Milner. It was just, and you had to be that good to, you probably used to laugh at you. You'd say, who you got? You'd say, Bumping go. Right, he won't get in my team.
That 17 team was unbelievable.
Well, so it is a thing, and the fans get probably, I'm sticking up for what fans here. Sometimes you fed things out there like you have got, you know, we're all right, you've got this, you've got that, and really, and like you said, unless you study it deep, you're going to go, all right, it sounds really good and promising.
But apparently even within the club they were saying, yeah, I know we're up against it this year, but there's no reason we can't compete for playoffs. And you're thinking, well, if that's what there's talk of at the top, I don't think there's anything worse in sport than unrealistic expectations, because it's a recipe for disaster. The pressure then goes to coach, goes to players, fans are disgruntled, and I can't help but feel there's a little bit of that and a little bit of what you started the conversation with.
Listen, again, I'm biased. I want a strong cast. I think the new investment coming in is going to be fantastic. I think if Mark and the club and the directors get it right, one thing about cast, honest as the day's long, in my opinion. Never tell you a lie. You get exactly what you get. You've just got to turn it on. They're probably going to have a bit of ambition. I'm going to use the word. Yeah. Just forget about that. Show a bit of ambition. Get your new man who's got the investment. Say, here we go. Bang, bang, bang. I said this, and I can quote myself. They should be announcing 3 big signings for next year now. I'd do it now. Just to give the fans going, right, well, this season's going to be an absolute nightmare, but I'll tell you what, we've already signed Sean Johnson, we've already signed and we've gone big. And that's what the club and them cast fans are the most loyal. They'll back them. You know, you've got to give them, please give them something. Please give them something to look forward to next year with, and get and it'll give the club a lift this year. They'll go, wow, hey, Paul McShane might go, hey, I tell you what, here we go. I've got some great players. You know, all of a sudden the performances will rise. A special mention for one player, and I'd never really followed him. And that's not because I didn't rate him. I can remember him coming on as a kid and people talking about him like being the next Lee Crooks, Joe Westerman. And, you know, we know Joe's got a bit of... But I've got to give him it, you know. I watched him last week in training. I went to Cast to watch it. And you've seen the one where he pops his knee back in. Is it all where it's gone viral everywhere, hasn't it?
About 8 years ago.
8 years ago. He pops his... People... I've got on NRL the other day and they're saying... This Pommy has popped his knee. He's gone viral for a couple of things, but that one made one. But he popped his knee back in a game, right? But I'm watching him train, and to be fair, he's vocal. He's the toughest. He walks into a little basin room where we are, and think it'd be all right for a weekend, Joe. And he goes, yeah, just keep getting this. You can see it must be bad because he's wincing. He goes, I've just got like a thing, and he goes, I can't get. It's like a trapped nerve. And I'm thinking that if you ever want to see what rugby players are, Joe don't miss a game. He goes out and delivers.
His hand up, doesn't he?
Every time I watch him carrying ball, and you're thinking he has been a revelation. To be fair to Joe, we were talking about Joe as a young man as being the next superstar. Joe what? Sam Burgess before Sam Burgess, he wasn't to be that. So you'd like to think, has he underachieved? I don't know. That's a different debate. One thing for sure, he's been stalwart. He stood up and countered. They reckon he ripped into lads the other day in change rooms, just said, lads, it's not. He's the one who's giving it to everybody and saying, you've got to. So sometimes, guys, we judge people and we say, oh, he's gone for a pint there, he's done this, he's done that. He delivers.
Yeah.
He delivers every day, 7 days a week and twice. You know what I mean? He has that. And I watched him from afar and I'm thinking, God, he's the real deal. Like the one they used to say, you look at people and you go, there might be a bit of rock and roll in there, but you've got to give him it behind a team like Cass. He's standing up and being counted every week, innit? Every week. Good luck to Cass. Yeah, hi, yeah. So Leeds, Jimmy, we've lost Joe, so he's had to go to a meeting. Apologies. Yeah, Leeds, Jimmy. I watch him quite. Obviously, been there for a lot of years, and you've watched them all at home this year, and I've watched them live. I've watched them away, and I see 25 minutes, and I'm thinking, wow, it's there. And there's still no structure. So if you watch Leeds attack, you can't put your pinpoint on where they're going to go.
No.
And I get a lot of feedback off teams, and they say Leeds don't have line speed, so they're quite happy. Other teams are quite happy to get yardage off Leeds. They don't say passive defence, but they just say they don't rush up in defence. So they're trusting the team to come onto, and then they're trusting that their scramble and goal line D can hold anything, which they do turn up for each other in every angle, to be fair to them. Once they're scrambling about, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Leeds are famously, with the great Danny Maguire and that team, had no structure. Brian Mack once said to me, I'll quote him, he said, "Tops, if we don't know what they're doing, imagine what they're trying to defend." So I don't think they've changed much off that. I watch them, I'm a student of the game, and I try and think when the halves have got it, and they're looking, I'm thinking, are they going to go out back on this play? Are they going to do this? And they don't. And then they brought the fullback in from Newcastle, and he's exciting. He's lit the stadium up at times, but he doesn't defend. He's not going to put his body online in that aspect. He's not a linker of play. He's an individual player, and he's got his feet are unbelievable. Yeah. He stands people up, and suddenly out of nothing there's a try, and you think, wow, he's amazing what he's just done. But he doesn't structure tries. It's not in his DNA. I don't think he's hit his stack yet, the half-back. I'd like to see loads more of him. I think we've got loads to come, by the way. You can see bits where you go, wow. Frawley were never for me. That's just a thing. I just think he's a great lad. They say he trains unbelievable, great attitude. Yeah. This is Leeds Rhinos. I think they need an half who's going to score 25 tries. And that sounds easy. I think that sounds easy, but I think they're going to need a Danny Maguire type half. If you're going to let the play, you need somebody who can turn up and score the tries. I don't think between halves they'll get 5 tries, maybe 6 at most. That's if he gets them. I don't think Frawley will get 3 or 4.
We got one at Leeds when we were there.
I think the fullback will probably get 8 or 10.
I'm really excited. Obviously, Lockie Miller was a bit of a wild card signing, wasn't it? It was like, what are we going to get? We watched him in Boxing Day friendly, and it was just chaos, But I think he just went out and had fun. What I've seen of him every game getting better and better when the pitches are still crap, I just think that's brilliant, because we know from 20 years, most Aussies that come over here, you don't see anything until spring and when the ground's firm up. But once they've been here a while, they get used to it. But I think there's more and more to come. So it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't score 15 this year, because I think his feet, like you said, that not only has he got the footwork, which is probably only one level down from Bevan, Mikey Lewis saw, he's right, Matt Duffy, he's in that top category. As the pitches get firm, he's also strong and powerful, isn't he? The others, usually the quickens. I know Mike is a different.
He's very hard to put down.
He is, because his legs are so big and he's so strong. So he's got that dancing feet and the power on firm grounds. I'm hoping that he compensates for the tries. That Brody's probably good for 8 to 10 tries throughout the year. Frawley probably half of that, like you say. But I'm hoping that Lockie Miller kind of compensates for that. And I mean, Ash Hanley for me has been probably the player of the season across. Maybe I've seen Leeds play a bit more than others, but he's been my player of the season across the board. Like his meters and the work ethic, and he'll come in for 2 carries. I
still need Leeds to score a try where I think that they've been detailed in training and they all know what they're doing. I keep putting stuff on Insta where you see Leeds run and miss him out, Leeds in a second run, hit somebody on a... Yeah. And you look at that, and I watch Leeds, and I think I know exactly what they're going to do. Cameron's going to transfer the ball to half-backs. They're going to look for, and it's going to be saying to. I think to be that next level, the detail's got to go in somewhere, and the players have got to be prepared to do the detail where they go, okay, we're going to get there, we're going to sit deep, we're not going to be flat, we're going to put something on, and we're going to score a try where every single person on that pitch knows what they're doing.
What's going on,
and that for me, because of They haven't got the Rob and the Dannies, who were good for 40 tries a year, every year for 10 years. Yeah. They haven't got that, so surely they've got to go a bit of the other stuff. They've got to have some structure. Danny and Rob, I think between them, I don't know the record, but I would say 40 tries a season. I think Danny had 20. Yeah. So they did 40 between them. So then
Danny got 40.
Then you were lucky enough to watch Brent Webb, who put 20 in a season, 25. I think he got 25. So you've got, between three of them, you've got 60 tries, right? So of course you could play offload, of course you can play push, of course you can play flat, of course you can play who knows what we're doing, but we do, because you had the players who were the most exciting players in Super League history, probably three of them there, what we've named, who could score. They had offloaders like Alatiti who could do anything. They had a lead runner like Keysina who could take 5 players with him, and so there were loads of space. I get that. I think this Leeds side should have a little bit more structure until they get that little bit. Rowan watches this and we can have a debate about it, and but I just, Cameron Smith, outstanding. You just said that, Shanley. Cameron Smith, to me, has become that leader and he's become that person that I always dreamt about him doing. I love his attitude. I love the way he carries himself. I love everything about him. We probably last two week, I probably questioned it. Like, you're like, come on, Cam, I want more. I want Cam to go England. I want Cam to be the best. Yeah. So I'm like trying to rattle. Come on, Cam, show him the best. Big Mick, come on, outstanding last couple of weeks. Started to really.
He's got a smile back, and
big smile, big things. Tom Allroyd coming on. You know, we don't want Tom to get in. You know, want that run against.
Lazone.
Yeah,
big impact.
We've got all these little things, but we haven't got a top 3 side. And Rowan talks about still being in development. We've got the academy. We won't watch the academy. We'll watch the reserves. We watch different aspects of it. Exciting times at Leeds. But when does somebody say, stop saying that? Stop it.
Stop
it. We've had one Challenge Cup. We've had one Challenge Cup in 6 years. Yeah. Shut up. We've had a grand final and one Challenge Cup in 7 years. Yeah. Let's win something, and this is when we're going to do it.
Well, I've been saying it for two years at least now. Next year, and definitely the one after. I think this, as we've said before, getting Brody and Ackers was totally out of the blue, really, and it has made him that we've got to deliver something this year. They're out of the Challenge Cup now. It was unfortunate to get Saints. You know, you want to try and dodge Saints or Wigan till the final. I've no doubt they'll get the playoffs. Can Leeds beat Saints or Wigan in a one-off game? Yes, but they're never favourites. No chance. Can they beat anybody else? Totally. So can Leeds give themselves...
But Leeds are not favourites. Do you think Leeds are favourites against Catalans, KR?
I mean, they beat Catalans already this year.
Yeah, they beat KR.
No, they didn't beat KR.
KR beat them.
Yeah. So
but they won't be favourites against them.
No, I'm not saying, but I've got them as 50-50s.
Leeds Warrington, what would you say?
50-50. Yeah. That's how I view it.
What I'm saying is, when does somebody come along and say, right, you're saying next year, that's what we want. We want from the club somebody to say, we will win this next year, we will finish in the top 2, we are Leeds Rhinos, we are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and we've been in development now since 18, 17 we won it, we've won a Challenge Cup, and that, shut up, it's all boring, and the players, you know what, here's a challenge for the players. I think the players, and we're all been there for 10 years now, they need to say that to each other. They need to say to each other, no, the time's now. What we're doing. I'm the best. Mick Kalitsky should say, I am the best forward in the world, in the country. I'm number 1 forward in this country. You know what I'm going to do? Show it. Cameron Smith. I'm the best loose forward by a million mile. Let me show it. And I think all these together, Harry Newman, Ash Hanley, we talk about all these people and we just like get it together and they've got to produce. And I just think it takes somebody from the club, instead of saying all the time, we're in this procedure.
But you've got to accept that, and you've got to accept that. You can't just go, next year we're going to win this. You can't, because... Why? Because Hull KR are doing that. Catalans are always there. Warrington are doing this.
Hull KR are doing it.
But I still don't think Hull KR will...
No, forget about doing it. Hull KR will tell you, Paul Lake, get up, phone down live, he'll say, we're going to win it. No.
Right, but they might want to, but we're still saying...
And we think we can.
We're still... Right, and Leeds will think they can.
No chance.
Leeds will think
You will never get anybody from Leeds say that.
Right, you don't need to say it. It's what the players believe. If the players believe...
You think they believe they can win it?
What, if they think they can beat Wigan or Saints on a one-off game, totally.
No, forget about that.
Playing the game.
Forget about that.
No, that's what it is, playoff rugby.
Right, well, let me tell you. I can sit down now and
Yeah.
get KR's establishment, Willie Peters and all that, and they'd say, mate, we're win it this year. I said it pre-season.
Win what?
The title.
The
100%.
top of the league.
The top of the league.
Right.
100% that's on their wall.
Right.
And it has been from day one of this year.
Right.
Well, he's had 2 year, third year, so bang, we're going for it. He's even under pressure now for next year. They've already bought in Hargreaves next year. So they're saying whatever happens now, we don't win it, we'll win it next year. It's all around the ground. They might not. What I'm saying is there's an expectancy from within that club.
Right.
I don't feel that at any time. I always think Leeds in transition. And I'd love them to say, no, we're not in transition.
I accept that, but I also think there's different approaches to sport. It's great. Willie Peters is a character that's going, no, Wigan and Saints might be clear favourites, but we will be fine. But there's different styles. Rowan's a different character to
I'm not putting this on Rowan.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying the goals come from coach and the leadership group. If you've got that total, Zach Hardacre is one of the greatest winners I've ever seen play this game. He'll probably be going at least saying we could beat anyone, we could beat anyone. Brilliant. But that's not one size fits all. Leeds don't have to be going, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But as long as they've got belief, and if they get in the playoffs, like they've done many years from 5th and 6th, and can beat Saints on it, we know, and this is what I think is different this year, for the last few years, it always comes down to who's got their best team fit in the big games. Who's got their best team when it comes to that knockout playoff game? Who's going to win it? Generally. Who's got the most depth in the squad? This year, results are depending on who gets a yellow and who gets a red. So there's no reason for me why any team that gets in the playoffs can't go to grand final and win it. Because you only need, as we saw with Wigan and Saints, a red carding. It's a different game. Salford, who I still think are probably bottom 5 team in the Super League, beat St Helens. We all agree St Helens and Wigan are way ahead. They beat them because Saints had a man sent off. Otherwise, Saints probably win that game by 30. That's how games can change. So there's no way any player should be playing at Leeds Rhinos if they don't believe they can win the grand final this year. They might not come out and say it because why put unnecessary pressure on yourselves? That's how they want to handle it.
Because you're at Leeds Rhinos. There should be pressure.
You don't, I'm saying there's different ways of doing it. You don't have to go, we're going to do this, this and this. Because if that's not how you want to
I'm pissed off. We mentioned 7 players there who I think are best players in country, I think, at their position. If you've got 6 or 7 of the best players in country at one position, you've got to be saying to coach and fans, we can win this. Got to be saying, Gary's got to be saying, why are we not winning it? I think there has to be some type of element of pressure on, not just, hey, forget them in a one-off lucky game, we can do all right. Wigan speak to Matty Pete more than anybody. They're not thinking that.
They should be, because they've got the best squad and they're favourites to win it. They should be going, we've got to finish this.
And it has been for 2 or 3 years, because that was the eagerness of the club to be the number one. They wanted to take Saints out and become the number one, and now they're there. But they thought it 3, the bang, we'll get there. We'll be bang, we'll get there. I don't think this ever comes out of Leeds. I think you get this. I'm not saying it's like a cultural thing where you go, hey, you know, we're all right, we're in this. Yeah. And I don't want it. I'm sick of it. I was brought up, I want Leeds to somebody to come out and say, well, if we don't win it, why not? And if we don't win it, you're saying next year. I'd love it if Rowan come out and said, and from the staff, and they said, do you know what, guys? We've had 3.5 years now. We should be in that top 2 next year. We are delivering our programme to win that. We're going to win it. We're going to go for it, and we're going to win it. Brian Mack famously, I think it was in 16, 15, said we'll win it. Went public and said, I think we'll win it. Everyone absolutely baited him. There were 1 year he told me they'd win it when they were 5th in playoffs. He rang me and said, we'll win it. Mack always thought they would win it. But he was totally dominant in his opinion that Leeds had the best side.
But I'm not disputing that. All I'm saying is Brian Mack was a character who wants to verbalise his belief, whether it's to try and get a reaction from the fans. You're talking more about sports psychology than you are about what's going on. As long as Michalewski believes that they can beat Wigan or Saints in a one-off game, if they're going up against Saints like they did back-to-back weeks and think, well, as long as we can have a good go against these, that's all right. You know, that's not acceptable. If they're going into that game, I'm hoping all of them thinking we can beat these. If they're not thinking that, I agree.
I'm sure they do think that.
Yeah, and that's all that matters to me.
I just want them to, my opinions.
They don't need to be telling every journalist
and say we're going for it. We're going to try and win this. We've got the squad. The club is big enough to win this. We've got something happening here. And I just think sometimes,
I think there will be
even after game, I watch it. Rowan, so you can tell Rowan's so passionate, but doesn't, he has to process I've just been told, he processes his replies, he processes what he said, he likes to have all them things before he makes a comment. We love Rowan. He absolutely is a breath of fresh air. Rowan he doesn't take individuals and things, he takes a group. You've never seen as many players happy at Leeds. No. From the 16s, 18s, 20s. There's no one calling the club. There's no one saying this and that. He manages to go and talk to a 16, 17-year-old. He manages to bring his family in there. He goes to all the academy games. Joe will ring me, Dad, Rowan's here again. You'll ring, Rowan's there. Yeah. He's there. When we go to the games, he's there. Rowan is absolutely transfixed and, absolutely everything what Rowan's got is into Leeds. I want that one word. I want somebody to say.
I don't. Because
it's not a swear word.
Yeah, but I think that his style and the way he does things, and he is the top man, if he wants to do it in this slightly different approach, and he thinks that's the best way to get Leeds where they need to be, and I don't think there's any doubt.
Well, let's be honest.
It's a longer term plan.
With due respect to Rowe, he's probably not been in that position to say them things because he hasn't won a grand final. He hasn't won. It's a different. It's instrument there. That's never happened.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's a character thing. You're probably more like a Brian Mack. You would go. You'd have your dog and duck team. You say we're going to win this cup.
100%.
Other characters would be like, we're going to win this cup, but we don't need to tell them what. We'll just beat.
I don't think it's telling it. I think it's just.
You're saying you want him to come out and say it.
I do the club. I want the club and everyone at the club.
Gary Evington.
I want Gary. I want everybody who's behind the scenes. I want the players. I want the staff, and I want the fans, and I want that ambition to be like Penrith's. If we don't finish it top two, that's where we're aiming. I want that to be where we're at.
I think they're getting back there. I think they're in a miles better situation than they were last year, which was a much better situation than the year before. And I have no doubt this is going like that because we know what's coming through.
What happens next year if they don't win out, Jimmy? What happens? Do you? I
don't personally.
Tell us where you'll be next year.
And I'm not about winning. Because I still think next year I think that Leeds need to hit a grand final and Challenge Cup final, and they need to.
What if they don't?
Top four. If they don't and they're miles off, then there's going to have to be some serious questions asked, either about certain players or the forks will be out like they always are at Rhinos. The pressure's on. Personally, this year, Challenge Cup's gone. Get in the playoffs and have a good run in the playoffs. You're going to have to play, the top three, in my opinion, but they can beat them, and they've got to believe they can beat them, and you now need a bit of luck with decisions and stuff. Next year is different. They've got to be with, for me, one or two per. I think what Rowan is on the way with the squad, bringing in better. I still want to see one or two middles, forwards come in. I don't want to be too specific. I think we're only 4 players away from being a guaranteed top 4 team. Do you think if Rowan did a 5-year, let's say Rowan did his 5-year journey at Leeds, right? And what a thing, by the way. Let me give massive raps to come from where Rowe has to be one of the biggest clubs in the world and be improving everything off the pitch like he has done. The programme, we'll call it a programme, is 10 times better, no doubt. Yeah. The lads have enjoyed every single training, everything that's gone with it. You don't hear a bad word about Rowan, ever. Usually lads stick booted a bit when they're feeling a bit nervous, insecure. No chance. Not one person's called Rowan Smith to me ever since he's been at Leeds. My thing with Rowan would be, your 5-year journey, you leave Leeds. I want Rowan, right, to say, I took Leeds on in that 5 year and it's become a better place. Yeah. I don't want that. I think that's Rowan's mindset, and what a fabulous job. So I want to give massive raps. I want Rowan to say, I went there for 5 years, changed everything, and we won a grand final. Yeah, and I think that'll happen. There we go. Yeah, I think it's a more holistic approach. That if we do these things, like say, it's a happier place. We know certain players that are in a miles better place now, and they're big players. When these things happen, because so many clubs get it miles wrong and they don't have togetherness, then they'll automatically have an advantage over it. If they keep trending the way they're trending and there's a few more players go and a few more players come in, do I think in the next 3 years of Rowan Smith's Leeds, will they win silverware? Yes. 100%. And at the very worst, they'll be in finals and they might just fall short. But will they sort out all the crap that's gone on for the last 7 or 8 years in the next 2 or 3 years? 100%.
Yeah. And I think Rowan is the right man for that job, and I think he's done it day in, day out. My thing is, I want Rowan to say, "Here we go, Ro.
Yeah.
You've got your family. You've left Australia. You've come here, and at the end of this journey, you've improved everything about that club, and then you've won that grand final, and you go bang, and then Rowan can go. Either stays at Leeds, go back to Australia, and becomes revered because I think he lives and breathes it. I like that. Right, we'll switch straight on to Salford and Leigh. I actually didn't watch it live, and then I went back and watched it, and I'm going to give him a quick look. If Sam can see the lad we're going to look at there, he's the wrong
Sky
shirt,
Sports,
by the way.
Sky Sports
he's in
favourite.
He's in a Leigh shirt there, but Ryan, I've got to say this because I don't think I've seen a player in my time, 16 year, reinvent himself from where this lad was, and you can only say that if you know the journey and you've been there with him. But I cannot believe Ryan is now becoming one of the top 3 fullbacks in this country. We keep them 2 tries he scored at weekend. He took the ball, bang, shot, bang. He's doing things that he's never done. He's hitting lines that actually Ryan were a support player with Danny Maguire. Ryan didn't get the ball as like a first receiver, drop his shoulder and go. He played out. And he pushed. He played out and he pushed. Ryan straightening his hips up. I can't. He's catching balls. He's taking carries in.
He's confident.
I can't believe. Yeah, but it takes.
And improve it.
He needs to. Ryan needs to do podcasts and do things where he can tell people what has changed. Ryan had all the talent in the world. He went to 5-6 different clubs. Talking about a kid who started off at Cass in the academy, scored absolute shed loads of tries because he wanted to be Danny Maguire. That's all he wanted to be. His email famously is Maguire.6. And he leaves Cass because he said he never felt wanted. He thought the click at Cass, he called it the Cass click. He said it felt very suffocating, that they wanted their own grown lads. They didn't want him to come in and was scoring all the tries. Yeah. He then goes to Leigh and he becomes this support player, 40 try season. Danny Maguire. He becomes the Danny Maguire of the Championship.
From fullback,
And then, from half. He never played fullback.
At Leigh?
At Leigh, played half. His first journey at Leigh were half.
I think tries.
Always played 6. Right. Always played 6.
All right.
And then, Huddersfield, he leaves there. Huddersfield tell him he can play a support playing fullback. They don't want him to play half. He goes there as a fullback. He scores about 6 tries in 11 games and he absolutely hates it. They don't, it's just within 11 games, I don't like it.
But he was fullback before he went to Huddersfield.
No, Paul Anderson were the one who were pushing him to go and play fullback.
He was playing fullback.
I let Ryan do it, but he played 6 where he scored all the tries. He then goes to Toronto. And at Toronto, they had a fullback. He ended up playing a bit of 6 again, like he did at KR. Goes to Toronto, has a fantastic time, and then that was Pete Tom. We then end up at KR, and he's on. I hope he don't mind me saying this. He's on 18 grand at KR, and he's living in an apartment away from his family and his wife. And he's saying to me, "What do you think?" Well, we're talking about going to Newcastle. We'd nearly got a deal at Newcastle. We'd nearly got a deal here. We're like, right. Well, let's just get most money we can. Yeah. Let's go to a club where we can make a difference. We thought that he could be the player that took Newcastle to this promised land. Ryan could score 50 tries. Yeah. So this is our mindset we're talking.
Hanging on.
In between this, he's got a chance of signing for Leeds. In between all this madness, probably about their Leigh, he's got a chance to sign for his club at Leeds. He wanted to be done. Yeah. He has a chance. That don't.
Just
it's like this. So it's like this. Yeah. His rugby league life. He then ends up going back to Leigh, scores another load of tries at Leigh, and then leaves the club that you think he's going to stay with for the rest of his life because they get relegated. I think Leigh got relegated, so all of a sudden Salford, I get it wrong every time.
No, Salford's correct. Salford's correct.
Paul Rowley or Rowley.
Rowley.
I'm meeting him at 3 actually. Paul he loves Paul, and Paul said, want him back here. And he comes in, and I can't believe it. That there must be the partnership between them both, or whatever's happened. But Ryan has become that player, and I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud for his own growth. I used to get slaughtered for mentioning Ryan in any single WhatsApp group with lads, players haunted Ryan, other players. The cat, there's some of the things that they said. Not one of them can say a word. Not one of them can say a word. They've got to give him the respect. Somebody's got to say, do you know what? He's done it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And the same players who are putting the boot in now, you hear them when they see him, they go,
fair play.
And brilliant for Super League, because Ryan's best salary cent I've ever seen. He is the king. He's the mojo of.
Oh, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's brilliant for it.
He's brilliant. If we had all players doing what Ryan's doing.
Well, have you seen he's done the mini documentary?
No doubt.
Keep putting on. but I think, to be fair as well, I don't know if this is part of your point, but when everyone was being critical of him and he was getting passed from pillar to post, and you were struggling to find him something, he was on low confidence, and he had weaknesses, and defensively he was getting slaughtered, and he was rightly getting criticised to a certain extent. Obviously, it was way more than it should have been, and he never had enough respect that he deserved. But he's a great example of someone who has continued to improve in the later stage of his career, a bit like his favourite Ronaldo. Someone like Ronaldo kept improving because the attitude is so good and the design is so good. Whereas a lot of players will get to a certain age and they'll think, well, that's me done. I'm either going to coast and try and pick up as much as I can for the next 5 years, or I'm going to start going that way. There's not many players who keep getting better, is there, to his age? Most improvement in our game comes, between 18 and 23? And whereas he's probably had most improvement. Props mature later, don't they? But they tend to make the name at an earlier age, and they stick with him then, clubs. He's probably improved more in the last 5 years than he did in the 10 years before it. And I'm sure, like you say, that relationship with Rowley is
they're a revelation. I think they're a revelation as a club. I think they do things wrong as a club. Some things they get wrong, but famously they do get it right on the pitch. I think 7 of the players, it just says everything. Leeds trying to get Leeds signing players that they've brought over and developed, and Leeds go and sign them. That's 4 players I think Leeds have took. You look at OKR with Bird, whatever. You look at Dupree. It's just crazy. Every year
and
people come.
Still, and you called it at the start of the year.
You crazy.
Said, I think I put them, we've ended up with them in the bottom because they're up against it. Our predictions of Salford being in the bottom 4 is nothing against the players.
They still might be, because they're trying the best to keep
and it's certainly nothing against the coach, because I think we all think he's in top couple of coaches in the thing. They're just up against it. But I think Kate Cuss looks like a great bit of business. He seems to have slotted in there straight away.
You've got Amir right, who people are talking Amir off, and he signed for Salford and he played a bit Halifax, he played a bit there. If you would have said to me, Amir, we're going to play 80 minutes in Super League every week for the next thing is, and Rowley's gone with him and said, right, Ackers has gone. Yeah. Here's your chance. Yeah. There's the ball. I'll give you as much detail as I can. Then I need you to come to this level. And it's funny. I watch everything about them. I watch them playing. I think when they beat Saints, I watched it and I'm like, wow, the detail to stop Saints' attack. They know very well coached club. I said this a lot, and please, I hope this one's put out there. When you go and take a player, I took Owen Trout to see 4 clubs. When I went to other clubs, they talked about the club, they talked about the history. Paul Rowley turned up with 4 coaches, sat down, said to the kid and me, guys, we're not going to sell the club so much because, you're going to good or bad. Yeah. What we are going to do is sell you that we can make you a better player. Brilliant. And these are the reasons why I can make you a better player. Tell him, first one's up, bump, second one, bump, conditioning, bump. Paul's leading it. And this is what we think we can do with it. If that's not enough for you, bang. It was all about the coaching. Brilliant. So as a player, you could see you thinking, God, he's just made that purely about what he and his staff can do for that player. It was amazing. I walked out, Cat. It didn't work. The charismatic Lammy had a bit more of what he wanted to sell to him. Maybe he says you've got Lee saying with players sometimes, they'll say, I've signed these 8 players, mold them, didn't you? Like, where's Ben? Yeah. Fantastic the way he did it. Loads of time for him. Hope they keep on going. I think they will struggle because squad-wise, they're always going to have lesser squad. Ethan Ryan, another one. KR, I was stood there. I thought Ethan Ryan was fabulous for KR. Apart from injuries, he was fabulous. You watch right, he'll score 10, 15 tries here on trot. Ethan is a natural athlete and a natural goal scorer. If the detail what Paul puts in ends up on with Ethan, he'll score. He could actually get 20 tries. That type of, because what he does to you, Paul, when he's coaching, you can see it. He's going, get there. He gets there. Get Ryan in space. It's so. Everybody knows what they've got to do, and it must be amazing to walk into any environment in your life. And you're going, what am I going to do? They go, you're going to walk here. You're going to go left through that door. Do you get me? There's a bit of flair, but he once said to me, I said to him about his detail, I said, are you happy to take it on first and second in yards? He goes, yeah. We have a number, we take it. 100%. We've got to drill them on skill enough to be able to trust that they will take it. I don't know how many other clubs even think about that.
I mean, you would say there's not, I mean, I know Trout's gone elsewhere, but as Ryan's proved, there's probably no better club to go to for a player who's arguably starting to slide a bit and we need reinventing, recreating. What would Callum Watkins ended up recreating himself as one of the best back rowers after only being seen as a centre.
If they had stability in the club,
sky's the limit.
They'd be a top 4 club. I'm telling you, if they had KR's drive for success and investment, they'd be a top 4 club year in, year out.
And I was a bit flippant earlier saying that, Salford had been given an extra couple of points because they beat Saints, but that sounds a bit. There's plenty of teams in that league who still don't beat Saints if Saints are down to 12 men.
100%.
And like you say, their structure and detail probably allowed them to break Saints' 12 men down when I think it was pretty much a full half they had without Percival, but not many could do it. You know? So will they end up being the team that overachieves this year? Already, I've seen enough that they will be my overachievers. And whoever, if Wigan go on to win the league again and go, it'd be hard not to give Matty Peake coach of the year, but Rowley's already going to be, for me, if Salford stay out of that bottom 4 or can get out of that bottom 4, it's an unbelievable effort.
The problem Salford will have is this: if 2 vacancies come up at the end of the year, which I think they will, he will be favourite for both.
Understand.
And by the way, if the club don't do it, they must be crazy. I'm sorry, Salford. I don't want them fans getting munk on. But if you were a club and you had ambition, Paul Rowley and his staff coming to your club guarantees one thing: every player gets better. That's it.
Yeah.
League. I went to Leeds.
We both did, yeah.
And for first half an hour, I thought that was one of the best attacking displays I've seen. They just ripped Leeds apart that first half, ripped them apart. You sat stunned in them conditions that they played that type of detail, and it was just on Leeds. I've never seen Leeds get done on lead runners, and they didn't know what was going off. It was like every Leeds player looking at each other, come out different team, exhausted, didn't have a good exchange, couple of mistakes.
Wind behind it.
You've got the Salford. You're looking at the game at the weekend and you're going, if they don't get injuries, they are absolutely the most dangerous gunslingers. Leigh, they've got the two halves who I think are fantastic.
Do you mean if Leigh get the players back?
If Leeds get the players back, if Leigh get a full squad, no one wants to play Leigh. No. Absolutely running scared because they did things in that game. When I watched them live, that was on a level I couldn't believe.
It was slick.
It was unbelievable. Really, and I think the pivots, the Papua New Guinea hooker, the 2 lads at half and the full-back and the set, everything's in there. We don't talk about the forwards enough. They've got enough forwards to get them on the front foot and they can play. So for me, Leigh, stick with them, Leigh fans. Degsy, don't be pulling too many triggers. Don't get too nervous. Keep with it. You've got something there that if it comes together, if you get into playoffs in 6, you are the one team that everybody's going to go, no. We do not want Leigh at the moment. Yeah. And I think if I was Leigh and I was Adrian Lamb and Chris Chester, I'd say, listen, guys, let's just get this squad and get him into that playoff. Well, like you say about Leeds, but I expect more of things. I think your Spint deal and Degsy they just come with so much ammo. It's unbelievable, like Rambo.
From every avenue. Everywhere.
So I think if Leigh, you're a fan, you could keep with it. We had a great day that day, by the way. The corporate were great. The pre-game entertainment great. The fans were buzzing. And it was -6. It was horrendous weather, but we had a great time. Keep with them because I'm telling you now, Leigh, if you get in that playoffs, if you're 22-8 playoffs and they say things, do not be scared because you are. I think you're the one team who Wigan and Saints go. Ooh. But I think there's even them at that level go. Oh no,
I agree.
I think you got my Pete,
and I think going back to the start, they were so fortunate with not having injuries last year, and they achieved so much, like unbelievable. That's the only reason I had them lower down, because I thought the odds are you can't do it again. They've got a few older legs in there, and they're bound to pick up a few injuries. But like you say, it could be one of them where injury-wise it couldn't have started any worse, and a few bans here and there. If they time it right and sneak in, which will be hard, I do think it'll be hard for him to do it, but if they sneak in and they get full strength for the playoffs, I totally agree with you.
I can see Matty. I can see Matty's face when he's been on phone up shows and something like, and it'd worry you.
Well, they're playing this week, you know.
Yeah,
and I think Leigh have got a couple back. I mean, it's at Leigh. I think Wigan are probably delighted that they get to go to Leigh now rather than going to Leigh in June or July when Leigh have got the member back, because it's, you know, that's for every person from Leigh, that's the cup final every time anyway.
Listen, that's keep with it, keep with the process. You're all right. It is one interesting one. We go to next, and Warrington, Catalans. We talked a lot about earlier on. You and Joe talked a lot about it. We still think they're a top 4 club. They come up with these great overseas signings. They've got the local lads a lot more now, and it's great DNA. The club's going places. It has been on place historically for the last 10 years. They get a bit of thing on the cap because of the tax. They get a fantastic thing. It's fantastic. Hopefully, maybe 2 clubs next year, development to losing. It'll be, that's even better for me, expansionist like myself. But I want to talk on Warrington because Sam's come in and he's infectious. He's absolutely absorbing. We were lucky enough to watch him at the we went to Pontefract, Paul McShane's testimonial. As a plug for you, Paul, get behind him. And Sam come in the room and I noticed I could feel it without him knowing that we were in the room. I knew it. I just looked over my shoulder and I seen people. Sam's in the room and he looked immaculate, cream, whatever. And he just had this.
In fact, he had a top. Is that how you bought that top?
But he just got presence. He told the stories which were, if you get a chance, I've said it before, SAS story, make sure you get it. It's fantastic. But he's got something about him. We've done a bit with him since then. He just, where we're on about Leeds, now this is the opposite. Let's turn that page. Sam's going, why can't we win it this year? He said it to me straight out. What are you saying? And I'm saying to me, so you don't think we can win it this year? Listen, mate, I'm not. Bang. Young players. Yeah, I'll play them.
Straight in.
I'm not bothered. No interest. No interest in not playing them. If that's my legacy, that's my legacy. I want to win every game. Bang, 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 bang. Whether that can get you to a stage and then you've got to play top 4 teams where I think Warrington do struggle. I think they get to them top 4 teams and you go, it's all right putting them away and putting them away, but you're actually going to be in the real games. The Catalan games, the St Helens games, the Wigan games, the KR, the Leeds. That's when you'll be judged whether Warrington and Sam can do anything. We know they can beat the bottom 6. They're quite ruthless, actually, when they get teams below them. They're quite ruthless in what they do to them. They get a lot of space, they'll kill you. I don't think they can, which is my honest opinion. I don't think Warrington can get to that grand final or semi-final. I just think, I don't see the squad. I'm a big squad man. I look at the squad and I think no matter how good Sam can drag him, and he can't play for him, I think he can give them the enthusiasm. He can give them this. They say Gleeson's the detail man, Sam's the motivator. This is what they've got, this little. My humble opinion is they're probably 3 or 4 players short of quality to be able to, if you put a dream team together now, you'd probably get Warrington to do better, as good as most. Probably get George Williams, usually gets in any dream team. George,
he probably would.
Toby usually is not fair. They've got individually. They've got the fullback who would probably get in most.
Killing it this year.
Yeah, you look at Ben Curry's obviously one of my favourite. But so you individually, I like the things, but I just think as a team, Sam's gonna. I think top 6 is fantastic for Sam.
Yeah,
a challenge cup final would be absolutely amazing.
But why you right? So let me just to play devil's advocate. Why are you not saying the same things about Warrington as you do about Leeds?
Because I think Leeds are in front of Warrington.
This year, you think Leeds' squad is stronger?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Miles.
So why are you not saying that Warrington... You're saying Warrington are fine getting to the top 6, but Warrington are the epitome of a team who have spent the absolute maximum amount.
Every year.
But should be demanded. So why are you not saying that they should be winning? They should be winning.
Because I don't think they've got the squad to do it. Because of what you just said.
Right, but that's the same as Leeds.
No, I think Leeds should have the ambition to try and win something.
Right, so why should Warrington?
I don't think Warrington at the moment have got the squad to have that ambition.
And you think Leeds do?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So you,
massively.
all right. Well, you've right. All right. So that's.
I think Leeds should be saying it. They're just not, and that's what worries me. Lack of ambition in saying we can win it.
I totally agree with you. I think Leeds are stronger squad wise.
I don't get it. Whereas I think if Sam were at Leeds, he'd walk in through doors back and say, Leeds, why aren't we effing won it? What's the matter with us? I think he'd challenge every one of them. Yeah. But I reckon some things he says, he's like, hey, come on. Bang. You'd love to see Sam with Mick for half an hour, wouldn't you? We could pay for Sam to sit with Mick in the clouding room, Alensky, and go, Mick, you're best forward in the world. What are you waiting for? Go and be the best forward in Mick. I want the best forward in the world. Yeah. You've got everything I've got. Yeah. You are. I could see Mick going, really?
I mean, that's going. Yeah, we're going around in circles, but
he is
true. He is that character who would do that.
100%.
He's a totally different.
The lads, I saw a picture of Ben Curry in training, and the smile on his face, and I looked. Sam's there with Atom behind you. Listen, he came here the other day. He absorbs you. Sam absorbs you for 2 hours. Yeah. He's a captivating character. Your problem with Sam is, this is only my opinion, Sam will do a couple of years, I believe. He'll do a couple of years and he'll learn so much. But I think Sam's...
back itself.
100%. And I think that's Sam's journey, whether it's there, whatever. I think Warrington have then got to... It looks like if they're getting Gleeson to do that when Sam goes and this team around him... I'm not so sure. That's just me. I'm not so sure. I think Sam's probably lifting this squad on joyous and happiness. It's weird, actually. I watched his interview after the game. It's the first time I said him. He was brutally honest. He said, "Yeah, we want good. Don't bang. We want good. There are areas I'm not happy about. We always try. We always dig in. Lack of quality in areas. Lack of this. Lack of that." It was like, give me a straight question. I'll give you a straight answer. I'm not going to bend nothing. No. Do you get me?
He doesn't need to, does he?
That's exactly what players... And he gets that. They're saying, it'll be Bennett and Sam. This is what everybody's saying in NRL. Whatever, if it is Rabbitohs, it's Bennett and Sam. Bennett is the thing. Is Sam as he's ready. He'll have 3 years with Bennett, and that'll come. I want to enjoy every minute of him while he's here. If he is here for 10 years and Warrington are lucky enough to keep him, I think he's developing as a coach. Sam's probably 5 years away from being a top. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You can't just go and do a Queensland Cup when he did a county team in middle of outbacks. And apart from him being one of the best players in the world and being through some of the best coaches, this will be unbelievable. He'll thank Warrington for the rest of his life. He never thought he was going to be a coach. Never even thought about it until fourth. They sent him to find himself in middle of county. He's gone with local pub team. They've ended up getting to the cup final. And Sam's gone, how good's this? Yeah. How good's this? So let's enjoy him while we're working. I think Warrington are still short of whatever it is to win a grand final. I don't know what it is. I
agree. But then they went to OKR and won. You wouldn't have expected that, would you?
But I love that them young lads are getting a game. That my little lad, the half, Leon. I've loved him since he was 17. I've watched him. I'm like, wow, Rob Burrow. Yeah. He ain't got that like Rob had, but he's tough.
He's strong.
He's tough. He's got a kicking game with that left peg. He's just, he's Mikey Lewis. He's that type of cat. You look at him. I just think, my opinion, 2 or 3 players. Yeah. Now, if Sam does stay, I think they can get them. I think Sam, if he doesn't ID plays in Australia after spending 12 years there, sack him tomorrow. You know what I mean? He has to be the one person.
He'll have a contact.
He's got to have it. He's got to be able to go, here we go. I was watching an NRL podcast and it said Sam. And I don't know if they're doing this to lean on Rabbitohs for pressure, but Sam, they're on about Sam got Dom Young signed to go to Rabbitohs. He did all the work. He'd got it all done. Got him to board, and board at last minute have said no. So Sam's got he signed for Roosters. But they reckon Sam, now if he can do that type of thing and use the Sam Burgess effect to bring top 2 or 3 players in, then we're dangerous. Yeah. Then you start to go, Sam stay for another 3 years and they've got a chance, because I think he is capable of bringing in that world star who thinks, can Warrington pay Marquis 400 grand? Yeah, right, come. We'll get you here. We're going to do something special here. He's still got that thing of these young players come through. I said, Sam, don't ever lose that, because he said he won't. I hope he don't, developing them young players. But I think Warrington are in for a bit of rock and roll. I think they'll have do you know what? They've all got a smile on their face. That's a good thing, innit? I think sometimes you looked at Warrington last year and poor old Powley and that depression that were around that place. It was whatever happened. Maybe 2 personalities don't click and Warrington and Darryl, whatever, but there's a smile on everyone's face again.
They're perfectly poised, a bit like Leeds. I think that it's a bit too much this year for either of them to win silver. Of course, they've got a chance, but a bit they're up against it. Whereas next year, both Leeds and Warrington, with a couple more signings, big signings, and even 1 or 2 going, then you've got 2 teams who I think can go bang at it with Saints, Wigan and Catalan, and that's why I just think we're heading in the right direction for a more competitive top 6.
Yeah, it's whether them other 2 teams can, what as Matty Pete puts it, are they willing to go through 50 sets like Wigan did against Penrith and just go through process to get that bit of football at the end of it. He always thinks, I think, that they believe that there's not many teams want to do that patience. They just go, hey, they'll just start throwing it about when they get nervous, and then we'll get them, we'll choke them, and we'll win. Yeah. And that's the problem. The other teams have got to get to a stage where do they want to go in that grind for that long period? You know what I mean?
And a lot of that comes from belief, doesn't it? And it's been for too long. It's been that everyone just looking up at Saints thinking no chance, and now looking up at Saints and Wigan thinking not much chance. And that's where it's got to change.
I think it's called enjoying the grind. Enjoying making 50 tackles, enjoying doing set after set after set after set after set after set. Then you go, oof, got a bit of a chance here. So, last one, London, Huddersfield. I'm I've got to get this one right, because I look at Huddersfield and every year we say the same thing, and I think,
where did you have him? You had him 5th from bottom, same as me. Yeah, we both had him out. Not competing really.
And I'm watching them and I'm thinking they look great. Again, they look like they've got some great players. When they put it together, they're great. When the thing is that the best performance I've seen them play for a year, when they went toe to toe with Saints Huddersfield for about 60 minutes, it were enthralled, and then Saints scored 3 or 4 tries, and it was it was absolutely the most enthralling. I loved it because
you're talking about second game of season,
Ian staff would have been so happy at that. I bet you they'd be so happy about that game. They wouldn't have been bothered they got beat at all.
Oh no, that's
that'll be it. They got them in last. Have a look.
They were.
Anyway, that's the game.
A good 20.
I know what happened, because I know after the game the lads said how Ian were in change room, because they actually matched him and they bombed him up.
It was only 6-0 for 40 minutes.
So the process, what Ian talks about, is gone. He's walked out of that game and he's gone, we can compete with best team in the country for 40 minutes. Wow. Yeah. How good's this? My problem is with Ian and the programme is, we've been saying that for 5 years. We've been saying for 5 years the same thing, when I can't believe that we're still in the conversation of saying Huddersfield should not be a top 4 club. We forget one thing. People forget about this. Paul Anderson, Nathan Brown, they were popping up. Yeah. They were starting to, people said these are the next club. So you spend the same amount for 10 years since Nathan left, since Paul, 8-9 years, right? So it's not as if they've done a cast and they've got no money. No. It's not as if they've got and they've got they can't have a marquee. These have took market. These have done the same thing with investment every year, and they've ended up here. Yeah. And no one's actually looking and going, why? Why have we gone from there? I think they won the League Shield. Did they win the League Shield? Yeah. And I look now and I think, what's success for Huddersfield? What's not a success? I don't know. I want more DNA. I think Huddersfield, fantastic play. Oliver Wilson this year, honestly, biased, of course I'm biased. Absolutely sensational. Some of the players, Ashton Golden, when he turns up, he calls it. Ashton Golden, Adam Milner. They say they're different to signings they've made historically. They don't give up players who are just full of enthusiasm. Probably might not have other added things to the game, but absolutely ballers where they want to go and give a right. Adam goes in and he's like this. They're saying he's right. Ashton thinks he can win every game. Come on, lads, come on. Maybe they need more of them, and I don't know what it is about the but I look back at the twins. I look back at Dom, and historically, if the truth we known, if they give Dom a bit more money, everyone tells the truth, they were going to stop. There was that journey we're going to come after. They just needed to say, Dom, there's a door open, you're going to play loads of games. Yeah. By the way, here's a 3-year contract, and then you can go NRL, Yeah. Innes, I look at Innes. Become the player he's become, and they did all the hard work with Innes and Lewis, and then they've just gone, we're all right with that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And there's probably a lot more. I just think that Huddersfield, if they don't finish in top 6 this year, I've got to say it, that I just think it's a travesty again. And then I think they've got to look at each other then and say, do you know what? We need to make a change. This is one of the clubs there. Ian, would Ian think he's done a better job at Salford than he did at Huddersfield?
Up to now?
By miles.
It's not even a question, yeah.
And you say, don't you, what did you have at Salford, money-wise, compared to what you've got here? So what's gone wrong?
Well, this is why no one would question anything Watson did at Salford about getting the best out of a group of players who were up for it. So he's been given a big budget. He has got no excuses left. He's been able to sign him he wants, unless he comes out and says, I didn't get a say in any of it.
No, he did. He does. Yeah. There's no doubt.
So there's nothing there. I look at Huddersfield and think of it that with the bigger clubs, the Wigan, the Saints, the Leeds, there's constant eyes on you. There's loads of fans in our world. There's loads of media action. Huddersfield are this club that are renowned for having no fans in an empty stadium. They get a lot of stick for it, and does that create an environment which is a bit too passive? And they're almost, what you're saying about what you feel that Leeds need to do and others is put ourselves out there. We're going to win it. We're going to do this. Is it just a bit too easy there? Is the culture
try.
just
the
a
lads,
bit like...
I talk to lads all the time. I've got 7 lads there. They all say the training's the hardest training, the detailing trainings. Ian's a fantastic coach. Yeah. They don't call Ian, honestly. Never hear anything about his coaching. They don't call his staff. They say the training hard, the detail. Ian gives them the detail, no doubt. It is a process. It is not, using Paul Rowley. Paul Rowley's got a play coming out yardage, and he's got one pass where they can go from 50 yards, but it's a risk. It's a 5-yard pass. I don't think Huddersfield are told to take that pass. No. Not in a million years. I think Rowley goes, whoa. That's a 6-metre pass to get a 2-on-1. I'm not prepared to risk the pass or the catch. I think Rowley goes...
Watson. Yeah.
No, Rowley.
Rowley says go.
Every time.
Yeah, go for
Watto goes, says no. Absolutely not. Go 1, 2, get a quick roll and we'll go through it. I think that is holding... There's maybe a bit of holding back because they seem to have the players who could do a little bit of that over years. Till I hear this week, it's against London. You knew we were going to turn it on. You knew the chip of it. You knew the tries. You knew... That's all right, London away, innit?
Yeah.
But doing that against the top 14 is probably not going to work anyway. I don't think it...
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking through various. I mean, it's such a... I mean, we don't need to say any more about London. We knew they were going to work the socks off every single weekend, but it's a very unconvincing result there. But then they hammered Hull the week before, and you actually start to think,
brilliant.
Yeah, and I still think Huddersfield this year, and they've not got much to beat, but I do think I expect more from them this year than ever before. I think we'll get it.
Well, but Jake looks fit. Jake the Snake looks fit. I want him at 4. Jake, I want you at 4. I want you right centre. I don't want you 6. Maybe you can do it, but I still think Jake looks fit. Jake looks fit, which is good for Huddersfield. They're going to let Lola here play. I don't know how they're going to do it. They've got so many concepts. You can't get a regular team on it. You couldn't pick the team. You'd be like, I don't know if he's going to go bump, 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 bump.
And the signing of Swift is
genius.
Genius. So I think, again, goes back to the overall point. Huddersfield, like Warrington and like Leeds, and like Leigh, when Leigh are fit, they can have big wins. They can beat the top two. They can beat the top three when it all goes to plan, especially at home. And that's what's exciting. I do think they'll be fighting for that sixth spot, that fifth, sixth spot.
Well, they don't. Listen, you know what? For all the things.
No reason why they can't.
Ken deserves it. My man Thulis gets some stick, but he's the most honourable man I've dealt with in rugby league. Is right up there with 3 or 4 of them. He never ever goes against his word. I've never known Rich sign his own player. He always lets the coach. He always says to you, as soon as you're talking, I'll see what the coach say. I have some CEOs who don't say that. I'll be honest. I can have someone say, I can't like him, Craig. Give her an opinion. He doesn't, Rich. He'll just go, boom. Let's see what Watto says to his staff. He'll come back and go, not my opinion, mate, but they don't want him. And you go, okay, no problem. That's it. So the myth about Watto's definitely had the open. He's anybody wants. And
he's not, and he doesn't. I think he's great. I think him and Matty Pete in post-match interviews they're honest. They're great with it. I know he gets criticised in the process, but I think they're going to be having a say.
I think with Watto, it must drive him mad if you're the coach. There's a good one this week in football, and they've talked about NRL about overcoaching, about some people having that much pressure on them. They're saying Benji Marshall, they're going to see whether this is the new school. So Benji's walked in, have you heard what's happened?
No.
So Benji's been slaughtered for saying, I will be with my family at 3 o'clock in the afternoon schoolroom, if not coach West Tigers. That is the way I do it. Right. I'll be on the golf course on this. I do not live and breathe it. Right. But when I'm there, he's not the first in at 6 on bike looking round. He's won his last 2 games. Smiles on face, West Tigers fans are filling the stadium, Benjamin Barmy Army. Yeah. They tried to critique it, now they're all back to ball. They're suddenly going, hey, it could have summer. It's weird because they're all smiling. They got a player on the other day, they said, what is it, what's happening? And he goes, mate, it just gives you so much confidence. He said, it's this young halfback, and he said, what does he say to you? And he goes, play what you see. That's all you've got to do. I'm only asking you. 18-year-old kid playing what you see. Imagine that. Imagine you say, I think Ian probably tells that halfback exactly where he wants him on the decimal thing. And when it doesn't happen, he goes to his goal, fucking hell, he's ended up there. Shit. And I think Ian could do with just going, let him play a bit. And I think that's why he brought in Lola here, Jake Connor. Yeah. I think that's not his natural thing. So he brought the players to do it. And I think they've got to be the saying, we've got this. Covered, and they probably are. That transition, hopefully, comes in and there's a bit of both.
Yeah, a bit of both.
Because I think he definitely recruited that because he's thought, that's not me naturally. You know, you played tennis at your level you did. I played above that level. But we talked about this a lot, is you looked at your style as a tennis player. You used to go on, didn't you? You know, you had your left peg, which was dangerous, which served you. You knew you didn't like certain things on your backhand. You had a massive foot. You knew where your thing was, didn't you? You knew your styles. I always think of Watto, that his natural DNA is to defend tough, complete sets. Do you get me? Yeah. If I said to you, what's the natural DNA of Rowan? I think you'd say Rowan likes a bit of expression.
Well, not extreme than anyone.
He don't want to. That's Rowley's detail must be, very good. Matty Pete, you look at Matty, and I talk to Matty a lot, so I'm in a good position to say this. I can see Matty, that toughness, first of all, that effort areas, bang. Relentless. He loves the big pack. Hey, our forwards will get into this. But Matty will always say, would you fancy playing against our pack now? He's like, bang. So he knows if they win that battle,
giant friendship.
You've got him.
Wardle's been brilliant.
Harry's happy to play Watson process. Harry's happy to go ping. Then you've got, like you said, you've got 2 or 3 players who've got that bit of magic. And the rest of that squad, Liam Marshall, most underrated player in the world, he is the one player who you go, James Milner. He's the James Milner of rugby league, isn't he? Everyone always used to nail Milner until he left your club and they went, all right, quite a good player. Liam Marshall is that player. I just watched him the other day and I'm like, how is he doing?
The meters he does for the size, it's
ridiculous. And he competes against anybody. He's like, So,
and you just know he's a good character.
And I think that's the thing with Hull, going back to Hull, Jimmy. I think looking at moments at Hull, where's the identity? Tony, one of the first coaches I ever saw of using his fullback, which was Brett Hodgson at the time. I think he had him at Huddersfield, then he had him at Warrington. At Leeds, he'd have had Richie Mathers, but he loved to play his way, pinned him with a fullback, putting the play on. All this was done to try and get the fullback who then pick the pass, bang. Hodgson was probably best component that I've ever seen in. So probably Brett Webby should be better because he had a better pass than Brett Webby, or a bit more score tries. Right. So Tony, but I look at all now and I'm thinking, Jack's not playing obviously at the moment. He seems a bit more through middle, the fullback there. I don't know where all are going. That's what I'm trying to say. I try and watch it and go, if Truey coming back will help that. Will Truey come back and go, right, now we can play. Yeah. Now we're going to put some play on. But I just look, Tony used to like the Warrington side, he had the lead. There were a lot of offload, Alatiti. Do you remember David Solomona? David Solomona into contact back. Tony used to say, play. They'll all be playing, bang, bang, bang. I watch Hull and I think they daren't do that because they might get beat 60. If they start going bump, 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 has he got the players to do that? And is he brave enough to do it when everyone's trying to say he's going to get, you know what I mean? You've got to be brave, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think if we were to, we haven't got time to it now, but if we went through every Super League team, in 10 seconds, we could say what is that team's identity, what's their style, and you'd go from one extreme of Saints probably being the extreme at the top end because Wigan are similar, but with Bevan and Jai, they've got that little bit of sparkle and magic, anything. Saints are still the robot, and I'd have Leeds at the other extreme of Rowan's gone. If you think it's on play, don't care if we're 10 metres out, they're at the extreme. Everyone else, I think we could call an identity. London's identity is simple. Try and play and work your balls off because we're 50-1 to win every game.
Do you think if you put Rowan at Wigan, what would happen? And swapped him in May?
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, that's the right question, that. Would Leeds... Obviously, I'll try and do it in a very short answer. Leeds would be more boring to watch. They would win no more games, but they'd win games more narrowly and they'd lose more narrowly. With Rowan, Leeds will pump some teams this year, I'm sure of it. They will put 40 on a team in the next few weeks. It's going to click. Firm ground, Lockie Miller, Brodie getting better all the time. But Leeds will probably have a terrible defeat at some point this year where everyone will go, because they might get beat by 16 points off Salford or Cass when Cass come to Edinburgh or something stupid. But then on the flip side, what would Rowan do at Wigan? I can't answer you. I have no idea.
Just Matty Peake, given 5 years at Leeds, does he win 2 grand finals?
No more so than Rowan. No. I don't think Leeds are in a better position with Matty than they are with Rowan. I think they're very different.
Rowan going to Wigan, does he win more than what Matty won?
No. Because Matty is Wigan. He's a Wiganer. He understands that club and he will get the best out of them and everything they've done. Rowan is not, I would not fit Rowan's character into Wigan as much as I would to Leeds. I think he's perfect. Rowan, I couldn't think of a better fit than Leeds in many ways, as long as people have the patience and understand the big picture. Would Rowan be good at somewhere like a Salford? I think Rowan needs players who've got an X factor.
Rowan left Bradford, and they always remembered. They always remembered how well he was. He was the first person I heard of at least 4 players, and the great John Bastian, to say he actually taught players. He actually taught them something. It was the first time they thought he taught somebody, which is a team. I'm probably dragging Rowan to go, forget about that. Come on, Rowan. You know what I mean? My problem with Rowan is, I love it. And all them people, when you've gone, they'll pat you and say, you made a big difference to my life. I've had that a lot in my life. But sometimes I don't want to do that with an empty pin. I don't want to do that with me driving back and going, no. I've made a difference to 5 players' lives who've left me.
Yeah.
I'm empty-handed.
Yeah.
They've gone on to do what they want to do. I'm a part of their process. They go, hey, Craig Harrison.
That person.
One of the best persons ever met in my life. I love him. None of them had bad word about me 10 years after. They say, wow, But have I lost as a player agent? Have I lost that 15-year journey of going to NRL with a player, of doing this and doing that? I have lost it. Bottom line is, I'm the one who has to either take my 3 year of helping him and say, that's all right, and my mates try and say, well, you helped him. I go, fuck, I'm not into that. I want to be...
No, you'd have to be really philosophical.
I am a winning mentality. I'm trying to say, no, my thing to them is, I'm going to come to NRL with a bigger star than you and do it twice as good. And I'm going to look at you in the eyes and say, you should have done that with me. That's because that's my DNA.
Yeah.
My DNA is thinking that non-stop. I want, like I said, I would hate Rowan to do this amazing thing at Leeds and then go back to Oz and they go, hey, imagine if after 5 years went back without winning out, and then you look at Leeds historically, Rich Agar won a Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
Brian Mack won 3 grand finals, Brian McLennan won 2 grand finals, Tony Smith won 1 or 2, sorry. And you look and you go, but he did a fantastic job, Rowan.
I have a totally different... I view sport differently in the sense that...
You're a good loser.
No, I'm a horrendous loser. Like, one of the biggest criticisms of my character. If people think Agar won Leeds for Challenge Cup, then fine. I don't think Agar won Leeds for Challenge Cup. He might have been coach. Luke Gale and Richard Mile won Leeds Challenge Cup. That's how I think.
He brought Luke Gale in, to be fair to him. It was his call. I was there.
All right, so...
he thought Gale could do exactly that.
All right. Fair play, then. I have no doubt, I'm extremely confident that because, in my opinion, the things that are important in creating a winning team and a winning environment, caring for players, developing players, looking after the 16-year-old as much as the 300 grand players.
Does it every day.
This is what Leeds are doing, and I have no doubt that in 5 years...
He's cleaning up a lot of shit at Leeds.
He's still cleaning up shit.
Yeah,
I still think there's a bit of shit to be cleaned up, in my opinion, but it only takes a few more players to change it.
That's a different ballgame.
And we know what's coming through.
If we think Rowan's had to mop up a load of that, and then he's gone, right, we're clean, and now we go. Yeah. Now we go.
I mean, that grand final appearance it couldn't get any more random.
Yeah.
Amazing, but not even. I don't hold that as any reason Leeds should stick with Rowan. My thing is, this is where I'm at with it. I still have a bit of bias towards Leeds. When that Cass game comes up the other week, you're thinking, here we go, Cass at home, worst start ever. They've got the strongest team out ever. They'll love it. It's their cup final. I'm thinking, please don't let Cass win this because it could affect Leeds in 3 years' time. If all the fans start going, get Rowan out, why we lose to Cass? I'm like, it's irrelevant because 25-26, Leeds will win stuff because they've got everything from the head of youth to the quality in the academy and reserves is as good as any other club, I believe. And with a sprinkle of players in and 1 or 2, thank you, you've done your bit. It's
an open invitation actually for Rowan. I don't think he's done many since he's come. Come on, Rowan, we've talked about it before. Come and sit with us, and it'd be great to hear your view of what that means. A programme. Does it mean is the massive
pressure on winning stuff, or is it just improvement?
And if you do develop people, and it's amazing, and that club will get some software hopefully. And I don't know, it'd be great. You'd only get it if you got all the coaches lined up and said,
will you be honest?
what you in it for? And if you just go, I'm not really in. I reckon and I'm not going to say Brian Mack here, but I have said it. I think Matt were about the winning, and I think you're willing to squeeze the flannel and get a group together and go, I just want to win. And I think at the start of the year, he wrote down Magsy 32, Kev 33, Rob there, JP, hey, come here, I need another year off you. Can I get that leg right?
Yeah.
Hey, Delaney, hey, Brett, what about Mac? What about young back rower? Needs 10 games. No. Whereas I think Rowan's the complete opposite. He's saying he's handling of Lewis Roberts. Lewis Roberts gets stick in a lot of quarters.
Yeah.
Whether it's good enough for Leeds. Don't be that stupid. It's not. We're not saying is he good enough for Leeds yet. Is he good enough to play for Leeds, develop his game so in 18 months he's a regular for 10 years? Yes. That's what that journey is. Yeah. Is Lewis Roberts on part of a journey to be good enough? Yes. Don't say it's Lewis Roberts as good as Ash Hanley or Ryan Hall now. No.
Because we forget what Ash Hanley were like in his first 10 games. He was nowhere near.
And Ryan Hall. You know what I mean? So
and Kev Sinfield couldn't kick a ball in his first 10 games.
The critique has to be, you know, when you look at what he's doing, how many of them he's putting in and going, got you a bit, got you a bit. Right.
And just to finalise on that, it's all situational, isn't it? Matty Pete at Wigan, you have to win. You've got to try and win the treble, no doubt about it. Same with Wellens at Saints. Because them two are there at the moment, everywhere else is a different approach. It's about what do we need to do to be able to catch up with him next year or the year after. And if we get a lucky draw and we get a bit of luck in the game and we have a great game and they have a bad game, anyone can beat anyone.
Wellens got the hardest job. Paul Wellens got the hardest job, even because I speak to Matt. When Matty didn't win it that first year or whenever he got knocked out, I swear as I stand here, his phone call to me never changed. I have never seen a lad who handles defeat and victory the same. And I come on phone privately, I said, take mask off. You must have one of them. And he's just that.
But you can see it in his...
Poor old Wello's got into a 4-timer and you think, oh God.
But the blessing in disguise for Saints is Wigan are favourites. So quickly, Wigan, with a couple of big signings, have gone, we're now favourites. So Saints can just fuel themselves on. We're now slightly underdogs. We'll show them we're still the number ones. And with Lomax coming towards the end, I feel he's got more desire than ever. A bit like Danny Maggs with his last grand final win, and Walmsley and Tommy Mack. Those three have probably got more burning desire to win that grand final this year than ever before.
Well, and let's be honest, Matty's done the best job, unbelievable, but Saints didn't have the Wigan with the power that they've got now. Saints didn't have, when they won the 3 or 4, they weren't playing the Wigan side with this much quality in it. No. To go and have two of the best players in comp and then go and sign Luke Thompson and get Dupree with an 150 grand fee. They wasn't that one before. No. Saints were always looking over the shoulder at Leeds. They're always thinking the Leeds were the one who they thought.
Yeah, but even for 4 years, they had no one near him.
No.
Now it's a proper battle, and I dare say someone else. I think that the 4 below those top 2 are all good enough on their day to get one of them because of this horrendous world of yellow, red. Anything can happen. That's what makes it very frustrating to watch because the referees are having an inconsistent nightmare, but it means anything could happen. The quality is getting there, I think, underneath with your LKRs, your Leeds Warringtons and Catalans. So,
well, we was going to do a preview of this week's games, but we spoke 2 hours on just where we are. We're going to word that, Sam, I think, is in a progress report after 10 game and then a bit of a review, but I think we've actually gone into the clubs with a lot more depth. So hope you enjoyed it and thank you. Joe me left halfway through, but chew your fat through that. I don't know whether Sam will split that into 2 or 3 or we just rolled it as one, but good morning. But I'm going to go meet Paul Rowley. I hope I've spoke well at him before he watches it.
He won't be able to see me.
Cheers, Jimbo.
Cheers, Craigs.